Friday 13th movie and Jason Voorhees. This is freaking awesome.
Please take your seats. Dinner will be served presently.
Why don't we play Secret Santa?
And our first contestant is...
Does it feel like it's hot in here?
I have had just about enough of this.
Enough of what?
Get out of my house.
It's not going anywhere. It's my house, too.
Hey!
Shut your mouth about my sisters, you pig!
Can't think of as Jason. Not Jason. The body he's wearing.
Are you okay?
No, my dad and my brother are sick.
It was Kane Hodder's gonna do the movie. Well, yeah, he is Jason. The guy has kill tattooed on the inside of his lip. There it is. That's Kane.
He won't stop coming for you until he's reborn. I don't think so.
That's shocking.
Well, welcome back to Corn on the Cob, and we have an exciting episode because we have writer, director, filmmaker, artist, even Renaissance man, if you will, Mr. Adam Marcus. So we're happy to have him back. Thanks for coming back and joining us.
It's great to be back, guys. And I will say, great to be back on what is absolutely the podcast with the single best t-shirt designs in podcasting. Plain and simple. I'm telling you, it's like it's so badass, so crazy. I mean, I love the one that I have. I am still pining for the Friday 13th version, but
well, I mean, since you're on a second time, I guess that means we'll just have to send you that one too. So you know,
I love it. But I'm telling you guys, you really seriously like you actually have great design elements, which I'm always
awesome.
super
Thank you.
impressed by. So
Yeah.
That's always Craig. He does that stuff. So
I do what I can. Yeah, we just got a
actually advertising for us too, Adam. So thank you.
oh
yes, we did appreciate the post
Heck
you made.
yeah.
So that was
Yeah,
awesome.
that
my,
was good. A
dude,
lot
my
of people
pleasure. Are you
commented on-
kidding? I'm telling you, I love the design. It's fantastic.
That's so awesome.
You guys
to
are
hear.
awesome.
That's
The
awesome,
design
man.
is amazing. So
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
we just started, or not started, but opened up a website. So anyway, Hearts of Darkness. We have not seen it yet because unfortunately, in our area there was not a viewing going on, which is
Sorry about that.
it tends to happen. That's all right. We're stuck here in the Midwest, so very rarely do we get too much cool shit to actually.
Yeah, we're in the cornfield.
Limited release stuff that comes out here. We
we
don't
showed at Horror Hound. Horror Hound. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were at Horror Hound. No, I mean we've been to a bunch of places, but it's been select. Most of it has been attached to festivals, which is sort of the route we took, and then a couple of conventions. Texas Frightmare was amazing. That was amazing.
Nice.
900.
I've heard
people.
some really good things about Texas Frightmare. I was doing some
it's one of
research
the best
the other
shows I've
day.
ever been to. Yeah, it's
Nice.
run really well. It's a really good show, but I got to tell you, I mean, that screening, we had 900 people in that theater.
Wow.
And it was gratifying, doesn't even come close. I mean, it was so extraordinary. Between that and Fright Fest in Glasgow, which was another 900 people, that was pretty amazing. So yeah.
I wish we would have went to Whorehound because I submitted and we actually had press passes for Whorehound last year.
Yeah.
But we ended up schedule wise didn't work out. But that sucks now that it's too bad that if we had went we would actually got to catch a screening of it. Yeah. We're trying to pick out and hit some conventions this year. We did Nightmare Weekend came to Des Moines in 2024, and that was just, it was fantastic. It was amazing. We loved every minute of it. Everybody there was just super wonderful and accepting and just so cool. You know, and it's just
especially.
You're fine.
I don't think you know him, Adam. There's this guy. His name is Kane Hodder, and I mean, you should meet him sometime.
He's I've heard he's terrific. Some say he's a giant pain in the ass, but I've heard he's terrific.
You know what? He is a giant pain in the ass because of what he did when we were interviewing Nick Castle. Of course.
That was
you
probably
you can never have a conversation with anyone else while Kane's around. It's impossible.
Exactly.
He was.
I
so
tell
fun.
everybody who ever comes to my table whenever I'm at a convention with Kane, which is all the fucking time. I tell everybody, I'm like, look, before you go see Kane, I'm telling you, you're going to get a selfie with him whether you want it or not, because we're going to take our photo. He's going to photobomb every single photo we take, and he does. He literally photobombs every single selfie that I take with a fan. So I'm like, you're getting both of us for the same price, man. If you want his autograph, that's one thing, but if you just want the selfie, done.
Yeah, we'll see the interview with Nick
Please
Castle.
do.
Yeah, he was fun because I think we tried to like schedule everybody, and we hadn't got to Kane's interview yet because we had kind of like tried. All the Jason guys were kind of in one spot, so we kind of scheduled them all kind of together. Yeah. And they took up like a whole side section, so we were going down another row, and Nick Castle was there, so we were checking him out, talked to him for a little bit, and then did our interview. And in the middle of the interview, Kane just comes, walking over and decides to pop in. But time and time again, I will tell anybody I talk to, whether they're artists in the genre or just fans of the genre, there is no genre like horror. Because of that aspect. It's the scary genre, but it's the most loving and inclusive and open genre of people that you will get anywhere. Does not matter.
I think there's a reason for that. I think that those of us that gravitated towards the horror genre in many aspects, and the reason why I think Jason Voorhees becomes this sort of poster child for our fandom, I think has to do with the fact that Jason was bullied as a kid. I think a lot of people in the horror, I think a lot of the fan base are kids who were bullied, kids who were outsiders, kids who had to put up a lot of shit when they were growing up. And the outlet for all of us was horror, right? And we felt a kinship with it because it was sort of the bully genre as well. Now it's the most popular genre. And by the way, it was always the most popular genre money-wise. It's why the studios always made them. They just always acted like they were the redheaded stepchild. But but I think that people who love horror, we tend to be the island of misfit toys. And when that group of people gets together, there is tremendous bonding that happens. The other thing is we get all of our darkness out in the art that we love.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
If you ever had the chance to hang out with Wes Craven, you couldn't find a more soft-spoken, lovely, wonderful, patient man. Sam Raimi, same deal. Joe Dante, same deal. The number of horror creators, George Romero more than anybody else in the genre. Toby was a sweetheart, and I know he was rough on some sets, but as a person, lovely. And I got to tell you, I think it just comes down to the fact of we are the most beat up people when it comes to genre. Now the number of people who want to be tourists in our genre, including producers, especially producers, who they don't know shit about what we do. They don't know shit about what we create, but they know there's money there, right? So they jump in. And I will tell you, as someone who's made horror movies, the people that I get beat up by the most are producers.
Yes. And
they're producers usually who don't like the genre, who have a disdain for it. And so, again, I think we're we're the lovable misfits. And I think that that's what happens in the bonding around fandom. Where, you meet like Star Wars fans. And by the way, I'm a Star Wars fan, huge Star Wars fan.
Me too.
But I would never define myself as that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Star Wars fans are dicks.
Yeah, they can be. I never
Like,
really-
by the way, like, how many times have you heard someone, a Star Wars fan, go off on Kathleen Kennedy? And I want to go, hey, shitbird, do you know the number of movies you wouldn't have if there was no Kathleen Kennedy? Because she's the one who fought the good fight on Spielberg's behalf every time. Like, I don't like the Boba Fett series. Oh, sit down. Sit the fuck down, man. Like, I agree. I agree. The Mos Espa Vespas, no, I'm not a fan. But you know what? It's as though they're ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater every time. In horror, how many shitty sequels do we have? How many? And by the way, I know there are viewers of your show right now going like, Adam, you're responsible for the shittiest sequel. Okay, all right. But here's it's not like I'm not self-aware. So I'll get to the joke before you can get to the joke, jackass. But here's the thing. How many shitty sequels do we sit through and we still go, yeah, but they're going to make another one and I'm going to be there to opening day. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I thank
every time.
I thank all the haters of Jason Goes to Hell because I know every hater of this movie has 5 copies sitting in their collection.
Right.
By the way,
true.
Freddy Krueger is a punk. I mean, I was a Jason fan, still am. So, yeah.
It's funny. Most horror fans are kind of defined by, they have one of the OG killers as their fandom that they start with, their go-to guy. Like, Randy's Jason and I'm Mikey, obviously. He loves Mikey, I love Jason as well. And then there's people who are the Freddy fans. You mentioned all the shitty sequels and stuff like that, and yes, every franchise probably has more shitty sequels than it has good films.
Oh yeah,
but I think that's part of the charm of the genre too. At the same time, you don't get cult followings with Oscar-winning films. That's not a fucking thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And everybody will love a sequel in its own right, because I'm a huge Halloween franchise fan. Michael's my favorite, but I absolutely hate several sequels because they're garbage, they're shit. But there's 100 other Mikey fans that love Halloween 4.
Right.
They love it in their own way.
Right.
And that's the special thing about it. Everybody loves them for different reasons.
Yeah.
And Jason Goes to Hell is probably one of my favorite ones to talk about because of what you just mentioned. Because of all the sequels in all the franchises, Jason, and until Halloween Ends came out, I think Jason Goes to Hell was absolutely the most extreme, out there chance that anybody took in any of the major franchises. Because not only are you taking a chance, we're taking a big swing with one of the biggest, horror icons of all time with Jason.
Absolutely.
And we're living in a world now where, I mentioned Halloween Ends, which we are actually fans of. Randy and I actually really like that movie. And I had I seen Halloween Ends as a child, I would have hated it.
Sure.
Much like Jason Goes to Hell. I saw that when I was a kid and I was like, what the fuck is this? I came here for a Jason movie.
Right.
Where's my Jason? Because I was a kid. And that's fine. I rewatched that movie as an adult and I'm like, holy fuck. This is a completely different film for me. And now I'm like, I really like Jason Goes to Hell because it's so fucking unique and different. And somebody took 2 minutes to think about a storyline instead of just throwing Jason in there to kill more kids,
I think that's a bit. Look, I think that's a big part of all of this. I think that the movies, I think the sequels in any of these franchises that are, whether they work or they're the most interesting, or at least you feel like there's a film going on, it's usually someone who swung for the fences. The people who played it safe, the movies that are just safe in all of these, look, we came right after Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, the studio gave up on the franchise because of that movie. They went, we're out. By the way, Paramount always hated those movies. They hated those fucking movies.
Yeah.
They put them out because they made money, and they made more money than any other film, dollar for dollar. So they were like, we got to put these out, but we don't ever want to talk about them. We don't want to have to, we don't have to have an interview about these fucking movies. So the minute that Manhattan comes out, right now, they are getting critically destroyed. The fan base is not happy, and it's not making the money.
Yeah.
So they go, well, fuck this. Well, we're out. Now we can be out. Now we can say we cancel it. Great. So New Line swoops in, going, okay, we're the house that Freddy built. We love genre. This is our bread and butter. This is where we live and breathe. We're going to bring this into the home, right? And for absolutely, so they could put those two guys together, which I was not told about at the beginning of the process. I was just told we've got Jason figured out. And Sean Cunningham, of course, who just loves horror movies. He's the one who's like, get rid of the hockey mask. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But here's the deal. New Line stood behind me so steadfastly because they believed in it. Like there was never a moment where somebody said, I don't know about body hopping. Never happened. Never happened. And these guys were like, we think this is fucking cool. We like that you're trying to make sort of Jason into the Terminator. And not just the Terminator, but T2, because he keeps changing form. Like, we're digging what you're doing. And so much so, they came to set the first 3 days. They never came back. They're like, you got this. No problem. I never had studio interference. There was no studio interference until we cut the thing.
Crazy.
Then they came, and by the way, they weren't dicks about it. They really weren't. They were lovely, and they gave me test screenings, and those test screenings informed sort of things like, putting the camper scene in and things like that. But they were incredibly supportive. To this day, by the way, the people my executives from that time are still wonderful to me. So Sean was a dick the whole time. But the people at the studio level loved the movie. And again, because they said this franchise is getting threadbare. We've done it. How many times can we have a group of dumb kids? And by the way, dumb kids. That's what's annoying, because you've got these executives at these studios who literally telling you, don't write the characters too well. Don't make the audience upset that they're gone. You want this to be fun. And my response to that is, wait. Isn't this a fucking horror movie?
Yeah.
Because if we're on the side of the villain, it's not a horror movie anymore, which, by the way, is the problem with most sequels. Is that I think Nightmare on Elm Street is the most egregious about this, because Freddy's funny and he's going to tell you a joke. Yeah. And in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, he has a sense of humor that only makes you more like, oh, fuck, that guy's fucked up. Yeah. So, the first couple of these, the villain is always the villain. It's scary. These movies are scary because nobody is on the side of the shark. Nobody goes to a Jaws movie hoping the shark's going to win.
Right.
When we get to our genre classics, when you get further and further down the line, the audience is only with the villain. And that's terrible. That's not a horror movie. Now, what are we on? A roller coaster ride? We're at an amusement park? Because we're not in a horror film anymore. And so all of these movies became famous because they scared the shit out of us. Mm-hmm. And then we went, well, now we're just going to make the teenagers dumb. And it's going to be like, what cool kill are we going to see? When it came to Jason Goes to Hell, that was my thought, was like, okay, we've been on the hockey mask Jason ride for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And as much as that ride changes, it's always the same. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Here's the thing. And by the way, they tried to throw Carrie into part 7. Then they had him take a boat ride for part 8. I mean, they tried like, let's throw in a different thing. And God bless them for it. When it came to sitting down to trying to create this, I was like, well, okay, I want to make Jason scary again. I actually want to make him really frightening. So I'm going to put him in other people's bodies, and you're not going to like those characters. Like, I'm going to make those characters Robert, the reason why, it goes into Stephen Culp, why that was built that way, is because by the time Stephen Culp is invaded by Jason, Stephen Culp's character is a fucking scumbag. Like, you fucking hate that guy. So now Jason is in the body of a guy that you don't fucking like. Well, nobody's cheering for that guy. We're worried about the human beings that he's going after. And so I wanted to make the movie scary again. And honestly, that's why there's the, naked guy on a Pottery Barn table in stirrups. Because I wanted people to go, wait, Jason's fucked up, man. What's he doing to that guy? right? It makes everybody nervous.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, especially sort
Absolutely.
of the bro dudes who love that, you know, who love this franchise. So, so yeah, I look, I think that, and by the way, to your point with Halloween Ends and the last Halloween trilogy, I think that there were people who weren't going, oh boy, let's make a piece of business to get money from kids. I don't think that's where their heads were at. I think they were saying, how do we make this fucking badass? How do we make this scary? Look, by the way, I never go off on the Rob Zombie movies. I won't go off on them because I go, wait. They hired Rob Zombie. What did they expect to get?
Rob Zombie.
They got a Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah.
You know? And by the way, they got a Rob Zombie movie where he said, I want Michael to be this fucking hulk of a force that comes at you and you cannot stop it. And that's that's where his brain goes, right? Of course, he's got to make everybody trailer trash, and he's got to have, Michael have PTSD from his father being a scumbag, his stepfather being a scumbag. I got all that. That's Rob Zombie. But I never come down on those films because I go, that guy's swinging for the fences. By the way, White Horse and all.
Right.
Right? As nuts as that is, I'm sorry, wouldn't we prefer nuts to, same shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just the recent Halloween trilogy. All three of them are some of my absolute favorites of the franchise because exactly what you just said. It didn't seem like it was another cash cow because they're new. There's Michael fans out there, or horror fans. I think it was a specifically crafted trilogy. I think maybe that things were possibly hurried a little bit on ends, but at the same time, the arc was fantastic. We got what Halloween should have been from the beginning. The Halloween 2018 was an homage to the original film.
Sure,
it's not as batshit crazy. And then we had Halloween Kills, which people hate on, but I fucking love Halloween Kills because I have my chill, low key, stalking, creepy Mikey. I got that in 78 and I got that in 2018. Now I get Mikey unfucking hinged, just on an absolute rampage. Who doesn't want that for their favorite killer? And then I get sideswiped with just this absolute nonsense that's a deep dive into what makes Michael what he is. It's more than Michael. It's evil as a concept. And that's fantastic. And for people that hate that, I'm like, I don't know why you like horror movies then. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? If you want a repeat every time, then there's a billion movies to go watch.
And just rewatch the same group of movies over and over again. You're good.
There's going to be a billion more that come out.
You know what I'll say about this, and I've done a lot of thinking about the last Halloween trilogy, like a ton of thinking. And it's funny. A couple screenwriter friends of mine and I had a very long discussion about this. Where the only thing I think they missed in those movies isn't about Michael. Michael's great. It's Laurie. Because I almost feel like they did her arc in reverse order.
Yeah.
Because if Laurie is sweet grandma in the first movie, right? And remember, according to this lore, right? Halloween 2 doesn't even exist. It's just Halloween 1, right? It's just that one night, right? And then Michael disappeared into the ether. Okay. My sense is I go, great. So that's, decades and decades ago. Here's a woman who, stayed in the same town for some reason, right? She didn't even move out. So she can't be that frightened, right? She thinks she's safe. She has her family. She has her kid. She has her daughter. All good. And now you have, if you play the first movie with her as Holly Homemaker and Michael comes back and fucks it all up and she gets injured and she gets in the hospital for the second movie and then her daughter is murdered at the end of the second movie. Now I want the one from 2018 in the last movie being the badass fucking warrior who's going to go after Michael, right? And by the way, and even with the Corey story, great, but make that part of her journey to save her family and kill what needs to be killed. Great.
Yep.
My only problem with the trilogy is that Laurie's backwards. because she starts
That's
as a
it.
warrior, and then by the third movie, after her daughter's been killed, she's like Holly Homemaker, and I'm like, wait,
Right.
what? That's the only thing for me that I wish they had switched, because I find those movies really complicated. Like they're not. Nobody, as I said, nobody was just like sleeping at the wheel. Nobody was like, we'll do something for the kids. No, they didn't do that.
Right.
They went, we're going to make complicated, fucked up stories here, and tell you something that maybe you're not comfortable with. Good.
Exactly.
Good. You mean the way horror's supposed to be?
Right.
Yeah. So,
I think
the reason why I hated the last one is the reason why I loved it. I mean, everyone was like, give me something different. Give me something different. And then they did. And I'm like, this is great. This is different. I mean, I see their point. It shouldn't have been Corey Cunningham killing. It should have been Michael Myers. But I'm like, no, Corey Cunningham was scary because you didn't know what the fuck he was going to do.
There you go. And that's my point. You can't know what the fucking shark's going to do.
Yeah.
If we know that, it's not scary anymore. You've shown me the face of fear. I'm done.
Yeah.
So, but by the way, this is why we can't have nice things. Because horror fans always scream that they're not getting enough original stuff, that we're not swinging for the fences. Then we do swing for the fences, and we get the shit kicked out of us.
Yes.
And we go, well, then we won't do that anymore. We'll just give you the same fucking shit you had 18 times. Is that good?
Yep.
What a shame. That's a shame.
Yep, it is one of the, if not one of the very few shortcomings of horror fans, is the constant turnaround. That it's, give me something different. That was too different. Like,
right.
If I could pick a road, bud. But
by the way, I don't know if I feel like that's the hardcore fans. Listen, I think our genre has. I mean, our fandom has several categories, and there are the guys who look. Okay. When somebody comes at me about Jason Goes to Hell, which I'm fine with, I really am fine with it. Like, you don't have to like the movie, that's cool. When somebody comes at me violently, and that's a lot. When somebody is like, you fucking raped my childhood, I'm like, dude, I just made a fucking movie. Are you out of your mind? Like,
yes.
But when somebody comes at me that hard, right? Now, look, I always try to engage everybody and go, okay, so what didn't you like? And we go through it. Right. And usually it just comes down to there's not enough hockey mask. Okay, cool. Got it. But you love part 1 and part 2. And there's no hockey mask. You love those movies.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Okay.
Jason doesn't show up till 3, and we're still throwing a fit that we got another
the body
movie.
hopping. I don't like the Evil Dead connection, which, by the way, whenever anybody says I don't like the Evil Dead connection, I'm like, well, then we don't need to talk. Because I'm sorry, that's the coolest shit. No
fucking
one
A.
else came up with that. I went, you know what would be great? Why don't we give this fucking thing a reason for why it's been able to do everything it's done? Because it's not a person. And it's not a mythical being like Freddy. You have to have some kind of connection to something that makes sense. And if Pamela got her hands on the Necronomicon and resurrected her son, now all bets are off. And he doesn't have to be Deadites. The rules of the Deadite. I'm like, fuck you. Who are you, Sam Raimi? You're going to tell me the rules of a Deadite? Okay, he's a revenant. He's not a Deadite. He's a revenant. How about that? Oh, do you know the rules of that? Probably not, shitbird.
No.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that a lot of times when somebody comes at me hard, and I talk to them for a minute, and I'm telling you, some of these guys, like, I mean, you guys have no idea. Like, the vitriol, the outright fucking anger, and saying shit to me like, you hate these movies, you don't know these movies. I'm like, listen, fucker, I was on set for part 1. What are you talking about? I know these movies. When somebody comes at me, I will get to a point where I go, hey, let's stop for a second. Okay. There's something else here. Because this isn't about my movie. Who hurt you, man? Like, who the fuck hurt you? Because you're a hurt person. This is not a normal reaction to a movie. So what the fuck happened to you, dude? Who did this to you? Here's what's incredible. The people who actually are decent human beings that can get past their own bullshit, they'll take that moment and go, and they get thrown. And suddenly we start having a real conversation. And I can't tell you the number of people, forget about turning them around on Jason Goes to Hell, but I turn them around on just how they interacted with me. Where I go, be decent and let's talk, because I got a feeling you got some darkness that nobody's taken a moment to fucking talk to you about. Because if you're this angry about a film, bro, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something else is wrong. You know?
Absolutely.
And 9 times out of 10, something is really fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, you just get an asshole. And, you know, I go, okay.
Yeah. And it's like that because, to your point there, a lot of these people, the reason they react to these things is because that's what they've latched onto. A lot of these franchises and characters and films are their last bastion for fucking sanity at the end of the day.
Yes.
But that's why, once again, that proves the point is why horror is such an amazing genre.
Yeah.
Because it's able to do that. But then there's fuckers out there just like you, Adam, that sit there and all of a sudden they have a conversation with a filmmaker that could turn their fucking life around. Did anybody expect that walking to a fucking con? No. Absolutely not. But holy shit, here we are. That's not going to happen in any other genre. I don't care what anybody says.
I maybe I was 11, 12. I'm at my first Fango convention in Manhattan. I'd gone in with my buddies, and we actually slept in Grand Central Station. Talk about a different fucking era. And we slept there overnight because there's no place else for us to go. And because my dad was out of town, he wasn't in New York. And so we went there, and Tom was there, Tom Savini, who I already knew very well because of the original Friday. But Dick Smith was there. Now, by the way, this was before you paid for autographs. No one took money for autographs. And I went up to Dick Smith's table, and I had a veritable stack of stuff, right? Photos, Fango mags, comics, anything that Dick Smith had anything to do with. And I mean, and I didn't just have The Exorcist. You know, I had Big Man, Little Man. I had Little Man, Big Man. I had I had stuff that was like the nitty gritty of his career, where he obviously saw like, oh, you know who the fuck I am. I was like, yeah, like I've read everything I could ever read about the man. He took 25 minutes with me. 25 minutes. And there was a line. There were other people who wanted to meet him. He took the time to talk to me. I even asked him about Rick Baker. And he told me shit about Rick and also said, like, you know, Rick did this thing and I don't even know how he did it. Now, I got to tell you something. Dick Smith, of course, knew how the fuck Rick did everything. But that showed me right then, like, that's what a gentleman does. Is like, you could give me chapter and verse on what Rick Baker does. You didn't do that to him. You gave him the respect as a fellow artist. And that interaction completely changed my life. Because remember, up until then, my big film mentor was Sean Cunningham. And Sean never met anybody that he couldn't shit talk behind their back. And so that was what I knew. I knew this surly, sort of nasty version of the film industry. And then I meet Dick Smith and I go, oh, so you can be a gentleman and you can be kind. And you can take 25 minutes out with a 12-year-old kid and actually talk to him and actually find interest in what I was doing with my life, not just in my fandom for him. So, look, and I also wasn't asking him to read my script. I also wasn't asking him to, look at my makeup effects. I wasn't pulling out a bag to go like, look at me. I was really there for him. And he recognized that and said, what do you want to do? And I told him, and he wanted to talk to me about that. That's remarkable, and it's how I've lived my life every day since because of that interaction with Dick Smith.
That's amazing, and I think you, along with a lot of the other people in the genre, recognize that because they've probably had that interaction with somebody else that was their idol within the genre, because it happens quite a bit, and you can tell. Going back to the Nightmare Weekend where we spent so much time talking to everybody, because in between interviews and stuff like that, when there was lulls, like we would like David Naughton and Kane Hodder and
CJ Graham,
CJ Graham, all those guys, Ryan Lambert, the kids from Monster Squad, well, adults now, but like in their downtime,
Andre's
like they would see us
too.
Yeah, Andre Gower.
He made one of the best horror docs I've ever seen in my life. That
Fucking A,
Wolfman Got
man.
Nards.
Absolutely.
Well, by the way, that's how Michael Felsher got the job on Hearts of Darkness.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because we had a director on the movie who had been collecting footage. He and I had a artistic disagreement. I just didn't see him. He didn't have a vision for the movie. He just didn't have a vision. And so I parted ways with that director, and I immediately called Peter Bracke, who was, the historian on the film and also the person who introduced me to the first director that didn't work. And I said, dude, I need another director. You got to find me somebody. Like, you put me in the soup to help. And he's like, oh, no problem. And he comes back a couple days later and goes, I got 5 guys that all really want to do it. They've got incredible resumes. He says, but I want you to meet one guy first. There's one guy that I want you to meet before you meet with anybody else. Sure. He says, Michael Felsher. I said, I've never met him, but I do know his work. He's terrific. He goes, yeah, he would really love to talk to you about the movie. So we met on Zoom. And I say to him, I say, look, Michael, before we get started, I know the guy who was the former director on this, and I don't want this to start in a negative way at all. If you have any feelings about that, talk to me about it. I said, he just didn't have a vision for the movie. And that's really what I'm looking for in a director. And he said, Adam, absolutely. He says, listen, no, I know who you are. I've been watching you for years. I know that you're not a dick. Here's the vision I have. And I'm on with my producing partner, Ali Rivera Quinones. The two of us were on this Zoom call, and the two of us had been so frustrated with this other director. It was just a real slog. It was really, really tough. And he and so we're sitting there waiting, and he goes, okay, so have you seen the movie Wolfman Got Nards? And I had shown that to Ali before we even started working on it, and I was like, uh-huh. And he says, yeah. I kind of want to do that. I was like, He spoke for about 3 more minutes. This is not a joke. Ali and I both burst into tears.
Oh.
We had been so upset for years working on this project because we had no rudder. We had nobody steering us into clear water. And suddenly somebody wasn't just giving us direction. The fact that he said Wolfman Got Nards was like, oh, dude, you couldn't have said a better sentence to me. Like, there was no way. Because what they did on that movie, it's so heartfelt. It's not the movie you're expecting. It's this movie about the love of filmmaking. I will say, Fred Decker in Wolfman Got Nards, while I feel for him tremendously because I think he's a tremendous filmmaker, I do go like, dude, could you get one sentence out of the guy that's positive, because he's so negative. Oh my God, I'm like, I want to hang myself. But and that was the one thing I said. Look, there's darkness here, sure, but I want to find the light. And Michael's like, absolutely. And where he found the light with Andre and the rest of the cast, they did not find that with Fred. And I was like, no, I don't have a bad feeling about Jason Goes to Hell. I don't. Like, I'm still a fan. Like, I still go, no, I like that movie. Like, I watch that movie and I'm not like, oh God, I've seen that fucking thing. No, I'm excited about it, So yeah, Wolfman Got. I'm sorry I went off on this because you brought up Monster Squad, but immediately
no worries.
Monster Squad comes up and I just have a kinship with it.
Dude, I will fucking talk to you about Monster Squad for 12 hours straight.
It's the fucking best.
I shit you not.
I got to see the first screening of that movie with him, with Andre, when he first screened it. And I'm telling you, I was like, dude, you've made something really fucking special here. We were on the festival circuit together for a while when I was doing Secret Santa. So Secret Santa and Wolfman, we constantly showed back to back with each other.
Nice.
And I love that movie so much. I've seen it maybe 6 times because I think it's actually just for horror fans, and what we talked about earlier about our genre and it being, and our fans being so extraordinary. I think that movie typifies that. I think it really speaks to who we are as a genre.
Dude,
it's so
the
sweet.
Story of Monster Squad. And anybody that has either seen that movie, whether you saw that film as an adult or you saw that film as the child, that is you talk to that fan, and that is the genre. That is every single thing, that everything is the reason that you and everybody else does what they do and why everybody loves it. It's insane. I think so. At Nightmare Weekend, I mean, Andre and Ryan, that we talked to those guys probably more than anybody. And we got to talk to like David Naughton quite a bit too, but they were so genuine and so cool. And they had different representative than the rest of the crew from Monster Squad had. They had another guy who was a fucking douche. Sorry, but like I went up to him and like, because they told us,
those guys,
when we got the passes, and they're like, hey, you know, just like talk to their handlers or respectfully talk to them, you know, to do interviews or anything like that. So I was trying to be as genuine and kind as possible. And this guy, he was the one for everybody else, you know, literally Dracula, Gilman, Ashley, all those guys. And so Ryan and Andre, they're all about wanting to talk to us. And so when it became time, because the dude for the rest of the guys, he was like, well, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, okay, it's this. And I'm like showing it on my phone, and I'm like, here you go. And I'm like, we're a podcast, man. Like, our Instagram is not like that's just not
our focus.
It's not a massive social platform for us. You know, we're on YouTube and TikTok, you know, for shorts, but Instagram is not just a major place, which I took account, and I'm way more active on it now, just in case for future bullshit. But he was like, no, he's like, we're not going to be interested. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine, absolutely, totally get it.
Well, that was the same guy that was handling D. Wallace also. Right?
Same guy that was handling D. Wallace, which again, yet another person. We went up and talked to D later, and she's like, here's my email. But anyway,
I gotta tell you, the rep thing is so sticky, and the people who are good at it. Look, by the way, all of them are trying to protect their clients. I get it.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a way to do that that's honorable, and a way to do that that fucking sucks.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, it's why I've had one rep, and I've stayed with her, and I ain't going anywhere. And it's, you know,
I think,
get treated correctly, and they treat the town correctly.
Yeah. When I think to this guy, I shouldn't shit on him 100%, because he was a rep for the event. And specifically, I don't think he traveled with them or anything. I don't know for sure. But honestly, he didn't seem like he belonged there. So he's probably an overall rep for a lot of different things. I'm sure he's a nice person, but he was a douche. So when it came time for us to do our sit down with Andre and Ryan, we were heading back. And as we were walking away, Ashley's like, hey, are you guys going to do your thing? And we're like, yeah. She's like, well, I want to come. And I'm like, I mean, you're your own boss. Like, if you want to come and talk about the movie with us, more power to you. And she straight up like looked for the dude, and just like, she's like, fuck it. And we just went back there, and dude, we talked forever about Monster Squad. And I kept telling them, because she was Ashley, she was so wonderful. She's such a sweet person, but she was talking about Rob Reiner, which sadly enough, we just lost him, but she was talking about Rob Reiner and Princess Bride, and, you know, all these other films that were really important to like family and growing up and childhood. She brought up things like The Goonies and things like that. And I'm like, you know what? And I'm like, the movie that is that for me was your movie, was Monster Squad. That's my Goonies. And she's just like floored by the concept in her mind, like that being more important. I'm like, I don't think you understand what you guys did and the magic that was actually fucking there. And let me tell you, I'm not the only dude that feels this way. Like,
no,
like you guys had something. You had so much lightning in a bottle that it was almost uncontainable, and it has not been recreated since.
Nope,
at all.
Has not. And I worry about anybody trying to do it again, because again, it's sort of like when they remade the Bad News Bears. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
Because you
just leave
can't
it.
do what they did back then. You can't get away with what we got away with back then. The one shot of Dracula holding up the sister and scaring the fuck out of her. You never get away with that now.
Dude, like, as growing up watching that movie, when Dracula picked her up and said that, I was like, that is the single most intense Dracula moment to this day for me.
Yeah.
In that moment, I was like, holy shit, Dracula has never been that fucking evil before.
It's so
Like,
evil. So evil.
whoa.
So evil. And honestly, it's
What?
why I don't understand people making vampire movies, especially Dracula films, without going, wait, we gotta beat that.
Mhm. Exactly. You mentioned that about Fred Decker, because I wonder if he's changed his tune a little bit, because again, we got to talk to him because he was there too. And he was super wonderful, super positive.
He's great. He's an amazing guy.
And outside of the interview and in the interview, he was all about it. So I wonder if some of, because you had mentioned this was when or before Wolfman Had Nards was coming out. I wonder, since that had came out, I wonder if that maybe connected some dots.
I also think
something
he probably
for him.
saw himself.
Yeah. True.
Hey, nothing wakes you up faster to like, shit, man, I should go talk to a fucking therapist, man. I'm fucking sad about this. Like, I gotta fix this shit. So yeah, I mean, look, honestly, that I wish that's one thing that I wish we could station at fucking horror cons. Like, just get a group of tables of just therapists to talk to people as they walk in.
Right.
Just like let's deal with some childhood issues, then you can come on in.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we're doing. That's what we were. Yeah.
Yeah, that was our therapy session.
I will tell you, when I was at Sundance, my second feature was a movie called Let It Snow, and it became a huge Sundance hit. It was a big deal. When I was at Sundance, my brother Kip and I, we made the movie together. He started and produced it and wrote the script, and I was directing and producing, and so one of the parties. So basically, when you go to, have you guys been to Sundance?
No.
Okay.
No.
Here's the thing about Sundance. And by the way, it's all going to change next year, because this year's the last year in Park City. Next year it goes to Colorado. The thing about Sundance, first off, it's a dry town, right? So because of Mormonism and all that, the amount of alcohol in your drinks is very, very small content. However, you're up really high. So the alcohol actually hits your system differently, so it can get you pretty drunk pretty quickly, even though it's a little amount of alcohol. Now, by the way, I've never drank in my life. But everybody else does. And you do because you want to anesthetize yourself to the fact that it is literally everybody from Los Angeles. It's the entire community, just in the snow, all wearing black coats. But it's the exact same group of people, right? And you are inundated with those people at every fucking party the whole way for the 2 weeks you're there. It is the same party every night, just a different company throwing it, right? Well, except MGM was throwing a party, and it was like my 8th party of the week. I was like, oh God, here we go. I'm going to see the same 5 people, and we're going to have the same conversation, and we're going to have to yell over music, and dude, you walked in the door, and before you could go past the lobby into the party, they had set up a circle of massage chairs. So the ones that you face down, like you sit in it face down, you could not enter the party without getting a massage. You had to have a massage. They would not allow you in. And I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. I had this like Zoftig German woman like literally get off the floor and climb on my back and beat the shit out of me. I have never had a better massage in my life. I walked into that party, I was like, I'm ready to party. Like it was so, and I'm telling you, I wish we would do shit like that, like on the regular for events, for conventions or film events. Cause man, it does change. It changes everybody's attitude. Everybody's so much cooler.
Absolutely.
Just little love before you walk in. It's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's all it takes.
I was working on, Joe Tornatore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm working on a film of his. We had massage therapy on set. It was great.
Dude,
yeah.
I have a physical therapist who's part of Skeleton Crew who's on every set.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's there in case anybody who, who's doing, because all my actors are trained stunt wise. They all do their own stunts. I'll only bring somebody in if we do a high fall or something like that. And then I've got stunt people that are in the crew that are just stunt people. But everybody has their own shit. And, even if you tweak a muscle, something, I got a guy right there, take care of you immediately. and never had an injury in all the films we made. Never had an injury. And
That's awesome.
When you have somebody on set who's taking care of you, man, that's a big look. If you have that and you have good food on a set, no one ever complains about shit. They just don't complain. They're in too good a mood.
On the same set, we had the food was all Italian. So, and hey, I'm like, yeah, but there was a lot of the actresses like, I can't eat this much Italian.
Yes. And you have to be careful because you carb load in the middle of the day, you're going to get really sleepy for that afternoon section.
Yes.
So, but like I will not allow candy and sugar and shit like that on the craft service table. Because I'm like, that's a very quick energy burst. That's going to fuck them up, man. An hour after they eat that, they're going to be useless to me.
I want to ask you about your skeleton crew. It's really interesting because you talk about your acting troupe and you teach acting and stuff like that. And they're just either a lot of other filmmakers either don't talk about it that much or they just don't have that outlet or do that for other people. So it's really unique to me to see that a lot from you. And of course, since I'm on your page and everything like that, like I see it maybe more often than I do from other filmmakers. But was that something that you honestly started out and like, I want to do this outside of making films and things like that. I want to go out here and do this because I want other people to do it.
Well, no. I did it for selfish reasons. I did. I mean, look, I grew up on the East Coast. I was born in Manhattan, and I went to school in Connecticut, and which is where I met Sean Cunningham because he was in Westport, Connecticut, and had been there for generations. And the thing about Westport was, it was one of those remarkable places where. So, if you ever watch the show I Love Lucy, right? Mm-hmm. When they moved to the country. They moved to Westport, Connecticut. They talk about it all the time. Bewitched takes place in Westport, Connecticut. The number of shows that you're like, wow, that's in Westport too? It's because Westport was like the artist bedroom town of New York City. So it's 40 miles outside of New York, right? So you're right near Manhattan. And dude, I lived right down the street from Paul Newman. Okay. I used to sing at Martha Stewart's house on Christmas for her guests. Like that was, by the time I was 11 years old, I was doing play readings with Keir Dullea and, and Frank Gorshin, the original Riddler, and, like Sandy Dennis, like the Academy Award winners, like live there and they would want to do theater and do work. And so I was a kid, I was an actor, I did that. So by the time I was 11, I was already, deep embedded with Sean, but also I had this incredible mentor, a guy named Al Pia. And Al Pia, God rest his soul, we lost him a few years ago. Al was a Broadway theater director. He'd also directed theater in England. He was a film actor as well, but he was running 5 theaters in Connecticut, and he worked at my local high school. He was the head of the theater department of the high school. Now, here's the thing: when you hear high school theater department, okay, they built my entire high school around an existing theater where the Doors played, where Jimi Hendrix played, where Janis Joplin played. It was huge, 1,400 seat proscenium arch theater, gorgeous theater. They built the school around it. The theater department made so much fucking money every year. We paid for the sports department.
Nice.
We're one of the only schools in the country that was like that. And by the way, this is a public school. This is not a private school. This is a public school, public high school.
Yeah, that's fucking unheard of.
Right, dude. We were pulling in over $100,000 in the 80s per year as a little theater company. So that's where from the time I was 11 to the time I was 21. I was not only in theater, I started teaching theater when I was 15. And that's when I started my own company, right? So I started Westport Theater Works at that point. That company, I had 2 theater companies that were mine, and then I worked with the Players, with Staples Players. Those 2 theater companies put me through college. Like the money I made as a theater director and choreographer, that's what put me through college. So I was producing all my own shows. I did over 80 productions from 11 to 21. So there was never a time I wasn't acting, directing, choreographing, doing something in the theater. So when I got to LA, right, I had closed down my company back east, which killed me, but I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to meet with Sean Cunningham and do this. I had literally just turned 21. So I closed the company at 20. At 21, I get to LA and I start auditing acting classes around LA because my whole thing is, you want to be a director? That's your goal. Stop fucking around with camera lenses. Like, this is something that film schools have to stop doing to directors. If you're a director, your medium is acting. Your paint and your paintbrushes are your actors and the words that come out of their mouths. That is what your art is. And yes, should you know every lens? Absolutely. Absolutely. Should you know every focal depth? Of course you should. However, you hire a director of photography to handle that stuff. And honestly, while I want to contribute in every way possible to the lens choices that a DP is making, I am supposed to tell them how the camera moves. That's my job. They're the ones who have to be the experts on the camera. And I hate stepping on DP's feet about stuff like that. I hate when directors are like, look, put a 50 on it and do it. And I'm like, hey, stop. Talk to your fucking DP. They might actually have a better idea than you have, jackass. Yes, you want to move in on something, you want to track, yes, that's the director's purview. But for me, there are so few directors that actually work with actors. It makes me fucking crazy. And again, I went to NYU, right? I went to the top film school on planet Earth. I took 5 classes, 5 about the goddamn camera lens. There was 1 available for acting. 1. By the way, I took that class 6 times.
Nice.
Because I was like, no, that's my job. And by the way, for the first 4 times I took that class, I never worked as a director. I only worked as an actor. And the reason I did that, my first 4 semesters, the reason I did that was I went, okay, as a director, I'm never going to be on another director's set. Why would I be? There's 1 director on a set. Why would I be there? Right? Mm-hmm. But if I get directed by a bunch of directors, if I get directed by them as an actor, I'm going to start hearing the way directors work with actors. I'm going to learn more as an actor than I would as a director, right? Because they're not going to be, I don't want them intimidated by me because I'm another director. It's another, rooster in the hen house. I'll be the hen. You tell me what the fuck to do. I want to see what you do, right? And I never push back. Like, that's your direction? I'm going to do what you tell me to do. Great. So for me, when I got to LA, I had such a good acting background in New York and Connecticut that when I got here, I started looking at acting classes. And I was fucking horrified by what I found. Horrified. You know why New York actors tend to be the more respected group of actors? It's not the actors, it's the training. It's the way that people behave in New York. And I'm not saying they aren't competitive. Of course they're competitive. Actors are actors. But in New York, there is a love for the art that supersedes wanting to be a fucking movie star. Everybody there knows how to be in a theater company. Everybody knows how to be part of a team, right? Mm-hmm. In LA, everybody wants to be Tom Cruise. By the way, I get it. I mean, I do get it. But the training pushes that agenda. Like, you're the only one that matters. Wait. That's not acting. In acting, you better be completely committed to your partner or you're not going to give a good performance. You're going to give a selfish performance. You can be a Val Kilmer, but you'll never be a Daniel Day-Lewis. You'll never be a giving actor who understands. You'll never be a Meryl Streep if you're too busy being a Val Kilmer. So this town, its training honors people like Val Kilmer, which is terrible, right? By the way, be a Sean Penn, not a Val Kilmer. I mean it. Like, Sean Penn with his fellow actors, he works with the actor. He is there as a partner. I saw so many classes that were, by the way, like the number of classes I saw that were just out and out racist, which was shocking, where everybody was separated into groups. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I mean, really bad, really bad. The number of female teachers I interacted with who only cared about their male students, and the women were kind of an afterthought. I was like, this is fucked up. Because, by the way, most of the acting teachers on planet Earth are failed actors. That's who becomes acting teachers. Now, by the way, my the only acting guru that I bow to at all, right, is Sandy Meisner. Well, Sanford Meisner was the top actor on Broadway, the number one guy, the highest paid person on Broadway, when he said, I don't want to act anymore, I want to teach. So this is a guy who left at the top and went, yeah, I'm finding this kind of empty. I want to teach. So when Sandy Meisner went to teach, it was all about the teaching. There was no ego in it. It wasn't about him going, I failed, so I'm going to be hateful towards anybody who still has that dream. A ton of acting teachers are like that. There's just a sense of like, I want to crush the joy of it out of you, right? So the other part of it is I saw no camaraderie. I saw a lot of backstabbing.
Mm-hmm.
So after I did Jason Goes to Hell, because I had no time before Jason Goes to Hell to start an acting class, but after I'd done Jason Goes to Hell and I was being offered a shit ton of horror sequels, Amityville 97, Pumpkinhead 2, Leprechaun Back 2, The Hood, and I didn't want to do any of it. By the way, I have turned down 4 Leprechaun movies in my lifetime. I've turned down 4 of them. They keep coming back. I'm like, guys. And by the way, if someone would bring me a great Leprechaun idea, I'd be like, well, maybe. But I mean, dude, I've written a Cabin Fever sequel, and I will not touch fucking Leprechaun. That said, once Deborah and I got together, once Deborah and I were working together, and we were writing together, and she'd been doing theater in LA most of her life. She was the one who was like, look, you need an acting class. Like, you need to teach an acting class. Like, this is silly, man. You're not feeding that part of your soul, because I was writing all the time. And so I started a class. And after I had seen what the shit that was out there, I was like, I'm going to create something that is the antithesis of all of this. And that is what I used to do back east. And here's the thing. I have never once, not one time, ever advertised the class. Never. I have had 3 full acting classes a week since I started as an acting teacher. Full.
That's awesome.
And the only way you can get into my class is someone in the class. It's Fight Club. There is no Fight Club. And the only way you can get in is if somebody's in Fight Club. The group that I've got, and here's what happens. If you bring someone into the class, suddenly you're accountable for them. Suddenly, like, I don't want to bring a dick into this great room. I want to bring great people. So I get pretty much nothing but like amazing people in this class. Like, they're all so lovely and terrific, and they're fucking talented. Oh my God, they're so fucking talented. And so what I do is I say, look, I am not here to teach you how to act. You should have learned that before. Like, you should have been in college or should have been in theater companies, and all of that should have happened. Every once in a while, I'll get like a 16 to 18-year-old kid who doesn't want to go to college. And I'm like, thank God, because you haven't let a conservatory fuck you up, and come on in. You have no bad habits. I will only give you good ones. Let's do it. But for the most part, I get actors who are kind of cooked, right? Great. My whole thing is, have you guys ever seen All That Jazz?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's my favorite film of all time. My favorite movie.
That's awesome.
I mean, thank you. I'm a huge Bob Fosse fan, like a lunatic Bob Fosse fan. And there's a moment in the movie where he has hired a woman in the to be a dancer in the chorus who can't sing. She can barely dance, but he really wants to fuck her. So he hires her, he fucks her, and then he starts going, God, I hired the worst fucking actress and the worst singer, and she can't really even dance, right? And he starts to kind of beat this girl up in rehearsals, and she's getting more and more emotional and more upset. And again, she has a personal relationship with him, which Fosse did with everybody. And that's breaking her heart. And at one point she says she's crying, right? She's in a dance rehearsal and she's crying, and everybody else feeling terrible for her. And he's been kind of a beast. And he walks over to her, and she's at the bar, and he walks over and he sneaks a tissue in her hand, right? And she says, I'm just terrible. I'm never going to be good. I'm just terrible at this. I should just quit the show. And he says, and again, quitting the show would make his life 10 times easier, and he wouldn't have to deal with this girl anymore, right? And he says, don't quit the show. Don't quit. He said, look, I don't know. I can't make you a great dancer. I don't know if I can even make you a good dancer. But if you stay, I can make you a better dancer. And she stays, and she gets better, and she's in the show. Okay. Here's the thing. When my actors show up, I say, you should be an actor already. Like that, all of your basics should be there. I will take what you have and sharpen it. I will make you better. And I will teach you things about the way you work with another actor that will make you better. And if you just kind of give into some of that and don't fight me on it, just kind of roll with it, I promise you, you will be better than you were. Because what I do is, I always say, I don't run a class. I run a gymnasium for actors. Because if I go into a room of 200 actors and I say, okay, everybody raise your hands if you go to the gym 5 times a week. And trust me, more than half that room's going to raise their hand, right? I go, great. How many of you are in acting class? And maybe 20 or 30 of those people will raise their hands. That's it. And I go, so wait, so you're willing to work the muscles of your body to look a certain way on camera, but you're not willing to work the muscles that make you a good actor, because those are muscles. And auditioning is not working on your acting. Auditioning is auditioning. It's a different fucking animal.
Yeah.
And my classes are about people getting sharper and better, and they get better every fucking week. And they book more and more because of it. And when I want to go make a movie, I've got 60 people that I can go, you, and you. Come on, you don't even have to audition. Come on, I know what you do. I've written so many movies for these people because I know not only are they going to do an incredible job, but they're going to make my production 10 times easier because I'm not going to have a long conversation with anybody. We have a shorthand. And the other thing that happens, and it was funny because Val Kilmer really bumped against this, which was great. I had 26 of my actors in the movie Conspiracy around Val. I surrounded him with great actors. And there was this feeling of like, there's a club that Val, you're not a part of yet. You got to earn your way in. He didn't like that shit at all. He was used to being the club. And it's like, no, we don't really. And whenever he would be shitty to me, the rest of the group would come to me to like support me. He hated that because he was so used to being the big bully on campus. Fuck you, dude.
Yep.
You're on my fucking campus now. And here we treat people with respect. We love each other. We support each other, and we lift each other up. All of us. And there's a number of scenes where Val was fucking drunk and high and fucked up on painkillers. And I got my actors, I would bring them aside and I'd say, listen, he's fucked up today. I can tell he's fucked up. You're in charge of getting him where he's got to go. Like, you got to look in his eyes. You got to arrest him and drag him in with you. And there are like 6 or 7 scenes I could pick out in the movie and go, my buddy Tim did that. He created that moment for Val. Val didn't do that. That's all Tim. Tim woke Val's ass up for a moment. And Val showed up in that moment. And every time he'd walk over and he'd go, that guy Tim, he's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, he is pretty fucking good. He's pretty good. So that's what that looks. And by the way, not only that, but you know, in the classes we also have what we call Fight Club, which is my stunt coordinator, Freddie John James, who plays one of the leads of Secret Santa. Freddie is my stunt coordinator on everything. And what's marvelous about Freddie, I mean, everybody in town knows him. He's that guy from the stunt world. He's a brilliant actor as well. And what's great is that Fred and I run this pre-class to my classes where everybody works on stunts, and they run drills for an hour before class even starts, where they are prepped and ready to do any of the physical activity that has to happen in any movie that we have. And here's what's crazy. So I've got people from, like, at this point, I've got an 18-year-old all the way up through 83. That's my age range, right?
Yeah.
When you see women in their 70s throwing punches, like, that's the fucking coolest shit in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, there are women in my group, men and women, who are in their 70s who can throw down. And it's
that's
simply
awesome.
Because, like, they've been given a place that's completely safe for them to work that way, where we work with everybody with whatever physical disabilities they have. We work within that context, but we get everybody, again, stronger. I will make you better. And that's look, that's the only thing any acting teacher should ever guarantee, is that I will make you better. Not that I'll make you great. That's all bullshit. And definitely not that I will get you the career that you want. No. That's based on how hard you're willing to work and on a lot of lucky breaks. Anybody who comes to LA wanting to be Tom Cruise should literally get back in their car and turn home, go home, because that's not the way it works. Becoming a movie star is lightning. It's just like a thing that happens, right? And it hits 1 in a million people, and that's it. Mm-hmm. The rest of them, I'm sure we spoke about this last time we talked, but my uncle was a guy named Ned Eisenberg. He passed away during COVID, not from COVID. He had cancer, but he couldn't get into the hospital because he lived in New York City, and you couldn't get into hospitals when you were sick. So he passed from cancer. Ned is, for the horror fans, he is Eddie in The Burning. The leads of The Burning. That's okay. He's one who gets the on the raft, gets the shears to the throat. He is also the horror aficionado superfan in the movie Moving Violations. Okay. Yes, that's Ned. Which is a very funny thing, because when he got that part, I was maybe 13, I think, when he got that part, and he called me, and he's like, "Hey, Pork Chop, I got a pot in this fucking movie. I gotta play this guy who fucking loves horror movies, so I gotta hang out with you. So we're gonna sit down and hang out, because I gotta know what the fuck this guy's talking about." And it was amazing. Like, there's literally dialogue in the movie that I wrote for Ned, and then he brought it to the director and said, "Can I say this?" So it's like, fuck yeah, there we go. But so Ned was, he was in every third Law and Order. There was Ned, right? This is a guy who was on Broadway his whole fucking life. Every year did a Broadway play. Some of them won the Tony for Best Show. So he was that guy. He's a journeyman actor, and he's that guy. Everybody knows Ned Eisenberg. You see his face, you're like, yeah, of course I know Ned Eisenberg. Okay. That's the life an actor should want. That he never had to have a day job. He paid his bills as an actor. He did incredible work he worked for, oh my God, Oliver Stone twice, Clint Eastwood 3 times, Woody Allen. The number of fucking directors that worked with him and kept working with him, right? That's what you want. When Dick Wolf calls you every pilot he does and says, "Ned, I need you in the show." Every single pilot. That's the career that I want actors to have, right? You can't expect to be the top of show. You can't be above the title. Right. Stop thinking that way. But if you want to be an actor who, you love the craft, well, that's attainable. That's attainable. Yeah. You just got to work your ass off. But that
exactly.
I think a lot of people, that's Skeleton Crew Theater Works. That's our company. So yeah,
it's really cool to learn all that stuff. It's just that's just a question I've had in my mind, and I wanted to talk to you about it because it seems like that's a major background.
Most people never ask me about it, and it's like,
Well, I think it's something that's often either overlooked or the right accolades are not paid to the importance of all of that. Just speaking from a personal standpoint, when I knew I wanted to try to do movies when, I don't know, I was like in fucking 5th grade or some shit. I was pretty young. Mm-hmm. I was like, I want to do this. And the older I got, the more I understood that, okay, I have a path I want to travel. And it's I would refer to it as like the Clint Eastwood path. It's like you start in acting. That's your base. You got to learn that. And that doesn't start getting commercials or any of this other shit. That starts in theater. Yeah. And that's where you build that. And so coming out, I was a massive theater kid, show choir, theater. That was my bread and butter, because I knew these are the steps I need to take. I want to act, and I want to enjoy that. But those are the steps I have to take in order to get to filmmaking. Not that people can't go straight into directing. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but you're not wrong. That's a good path.
The path in my mind is that's how you check off everything you wanted to do, and that's how you get to be the greatest you can be.
100%.
And nobody ever talks about theater in that concept and how really important it is, because not only do you learn all that stuff, but you go through all of the phases of different actors and directors within your theater career. in high school and college. From my time in high school and into college, I worked with every different faction of those people. You mentioned,
Absolutely.
you know, the failed actors that now are teachers, or the ones that chose it because they love it, you know, this, that, and the other thing. You go through all of those. And when I see in today's world, and it's not that I'm jaded towards big name A-list actors, it's just there's a common theme where many of these actors, yes, they look great and they are great, but they're never a character. They are this person in every film, and which is fine. They were that lightning in the bottle to a certain extent, but I think that's also overused. And so sometime later down the line, I will read about them being in a production on Broadway or whatever have you. I'm starting to notice more and more lately, a lot of these A-list faces you see, or the people you talk about, I see them taking time off, and they're doing this show on Broadway, doing that show on Broadway.
Remember that
And
a lot of that
to me, I know, like, these people are actually dedicated. Like, an A-list actor doesn't go do theater because they wanted to be an A-list actor. They're doing theater because that's how important it is to their craft.
You also have to remember the number of jobs, American jobs, that get taken by British actors or Australian actors, right? And when you go to Australia or you go to Britain, mostly Britain, acting is a job. It's a craft. It's not this artistic thing. It's a job, right? So if you're not doing a TV show or a film, you best be doing a show on the West End, because you got to pay the bills. So there's no, like, Tom Hardy on his time off is working at the Royal Shakespeare Company or in London doing theater. That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
Because that's what you do. Now, I will say one thing, which is interesting that you brought it up. And Clint Eastwood's such a great example of it, because, look, Clint Eastwood became a great actor. Clint Eastwood was terrible for years and years and years. For most of his career, he was really a bad actor. And the best directors like Don Siegel or Sergio Leone, they went, okay, this guy looks great. Like, nobody looks like Clint. So we're going to give him as little dialogue as we possibly can. And the other thing that Clint had was he had that voice, right?
Yeah.
And so if you just say one line with that, done. We know where you're coming from, right? The genius of Clint was that he knew he wasn't good. That's what's great about Clint Eastwood. He knew, I'm not good at this. I got to get better at this. He bought the script for Unforgiven a decade before he made Unforgiven. And he sat on it going, I'm not good enough for this movie yet. And it drove Bill Lancaster crazy, because, like, wait a minute, you're taking the script that everybody wants, you're taking it off the board, and I'm not going to get to see it done for a decade? What the fuck? Poor Bill Lancaster, man. First The Thing, then Unforgiven. Like, oh, God, give that guy a break. He's a fucking genius. And every time he turns around, somebody's fucking up his movies. And here's the thing. Unforgiven was incredible because Clint understood, I'm not good enough yet. Now, here's the other part that's to your point. Okay. I always take Daniel Day-Lewis and Meryl Streep out of the equation. Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis is clinically insane. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean his personality is such that he doesn't, there is no Daniel Day-Lewis. There is only the character, right? He shows up on set. Look, he's the one guy when Steven Spielberg came to him and said, listen, I want to do Lincoln. You're the only guy I want. Like, I'm not going to do the movie if you don't do it. And he said, and Spielberg's like, but we got the money and we can go now. Like, I can shoot it now. Can you do it? And Day-Lewis read the script and said, I love it. I want to do it. He said, but you got to give me a year. And he said, what do you mean? He says, you got to give me a year. Why? Because I have to become Abraham Lincoln. And Spielberg said, oh, okay. And this is Steven Spielberg, who has the money and he's ready to go. And he went,
who the fuck tells Spielberg?
All right, you need a year? Okay. And literally Daniel Day-Lewis went and built a fucking log cabin.
Yeah.
He did that shit.
Yep.
Like, this is so I always take Daniel Day-Lewis out of the equation, right? Not him. Okay. Meryl Streep there is one of her every 200, 300 years. That's it. She's the Mozart of acting. She's Prince. Okay. We will not see her come again in our lifetime. It won't happen. She's Haley's Comet. Okay. Outside of that, if you name me your favorite actor, your absolute, this is the person I love. Every movie, it's the same person. Yes, they're the character. Don't get me wrong. But that brand is everything. And it's simply because the one thing an actor brings to a role that no other... Why I always tell my actors, like, sometimes I'll have actors go in opposite each other. By the way, I never double up on types so that everybody feels like they're never in competition with each other. But every once in a while, it happens, right? You're in the same age range. They throw you at the same audition. I always tell them, if they want you, they didn't want him. If they want him, they didn't want you. So you're not in competition, because the one thing you walk into the room with is you. There's no faking who you are. So if you go in being authentically who you are, you have a much better chance of booking a job, because they're actually going, oh, you're fascinating. Like, I don't know anybody like you. This is great. Okay. What I tell all my actors is, I'm like, listen, I want you all to be pigeonholed. I want you to get a 7-year series and make so much fucking money, and then you can go do whatever the fuck you can do. Regional theater the rest of your life. Book Cheers, book your own Cheers or Friends, and you can spend the rest of your life doing what you have, all the carte blanche to do whatever the fuck you want with your life. Because let me tell you something, John Ratzenberger from Cheers has been doing theater for the last 35 years because he can. Because he played Cliff Clavin. He made so much fucking money playing Cliff Clavin. And when anybody hires him for TV, they're hiring him for the kitsch value of your Cliff Clavin. Fine. Yep. Sounds great. Nobody tripped over James Gandolfini and said, yeah, you're not like you're not like a big tough guy who's going to beat the shit out of people and in the mob. They all said he was that guy. Yep. And he was Tony Soprano. And there you go.
Yep.
Right? So Al Pacino is always Al Pacino. Roy Scheider, who's one of my favorite actors of all time, is always Roy Scheider. It's just, what flavor of Scheider are you getting? You know? Look, Margot Robbie, who I think is adorable and terrific and really interesting. She's always Margot Robbie. Always.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's why we pay to see her, because we want to see Margot Robbie.
Absolutely.
Who the fuck doesn't want to see Margot Robbie?
Exactly, because that's the name you're going for. You're going to see that face.
You bet.
I think there's like different variations, and I don't want to put down any actors, but I have to use examples. So I'll use Dwayne Johnson.
Sure.
Extremely charismatic. Holy shit!
But
and
limited.
have not.
But limited.
Yes, but I have not seen his most recent movie. That's supposed to be amazing.
He's great.
But up until this point, he's charismatic. He's wonderful. He was built to be on screen. Absolutely, 100%.
He's a movie star. He's a movie star.
Yep. But he is talented in the fact that he is built to be on screen. He's charismatic. Yes. He's wonderful. He's great to listen to and look at. But he is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
You bet.
In every single role, except I'll make one caveat: Faster. I never hear anybody talk about that movie.
He's good in that movie.
Fucking insane. He's really good in that movie, and it's the only movie where I don't get punched in the face with Dwayne Johnson. Look, this is Dwayne Johnson. By the way,
he also, in things like Ballers, there are moments in his career where you see him pushing to be a better actor, and then there's moments where he's like, "Look, I'm not doing Jumanji for the art of for the love of art. I'm doing it because kids are going to dig it, and it's going to be funny, and it's going to sell tickets and popcorn, and fuck yeah, like, well done."
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I don't try to dog on any of the actors because they built their career and they're exciting to watch. I mean, that's why you do it. Like what's another example? Nickelback in the music industry. Sure. Like, I'm not saying they're bad musicians, but they're
not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not.
They found their niche and they're fucking amazing at it, and they're making money. I'm not. I'm serious. I'm sitting here at home hoping to God that Adam Marcus will want to talk to me for a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not doing those things that I desperately want, but these assholes are. But it's because they found their niche, and that makes them also really smart because they recognize that. Like it is what it is. But then there are some actors who it's that actor in every one of those roles, but it's just there's a certain amount of something to it that makes it a little bit different. Like,
but you're talking about now. You're talking about skill, though. You're talking about a level of skill, right?
Yeah.
So look, you take, let's say, a Ryan Gosling, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with a younger actor, even though he's now
sure
in his 40s.
Sure.
But you take a Ryan Gosling. This is a guy whose love of acting, and also whose need to be directed by really interesting directors to tell really interesting stories. I mean, this guy went, who's this Nicholas Winding Refn? Who's that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's making a movie in America again? Oh yeah, I want to do that. Like, sign me up for that shit. And then you get Drive, and you're like, yeah, he's fucking brilliant in that movie. The movie's brilliant. He's brilliant. There are actors who want to expand and want to do more interesting roles. Absolutely. However, you take the guy from Drive and you take Ken from Barbie, and you go, yeah, they're both still really Ryan Gosling. They're both great, but they're both that.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the other level I'm talking about. That it's like it's that weird in between, and then you talk about. I mean, the other completely other spectrum, like you mentioned, Meryl Streep, things like that. Yeah. I'm trying to think of somebody more recent that I find Austin Butler. I find him in his character in each film. I don't see Austin Butler in every movie. Right. I see his character.
That's great, dude. That's great.
In each film I see him. And
I will tell you, his movie this year is easily the biggest surprise that I had this last year. Caught Stealing.
Yes.
Fucking love that movie. Couldn't fucking believe it,
dude.
I was not into it. I was like, wait, Darren Aronofsky's making a silly fucking crime thing. What?
Right.
And Austin Butler, I've never been a giant fan. I got to tell you something. That movie turned me around, and I went, this guy's really fucking interesting. By the way, I don't know if he'll ever be a movie star. I don't know if that's going to happen. They keep trying to make it happen. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's like him and Glenn Powell. They keep trying to make it happen. Nothing's catching fire.
I feel like they're shoving Glenn Powell down my throat.
They are.
I don't want him.
They totally are.
I don't want him. Stop.
Here's the craziness. But you know what's crazy? This is what's really interesting. And it is interesting. So, okay. I have never been a giant Timothée Chalamet fan. I'm just not. By the way, do I recognize him as a talented actor? Fuck yes. Talented as all day, right? I respect his craft. I respect his choices. I think he's a really brave young guy. I think it's really
does
cool.
Make smart choices.
Here's the thing. He's a fucking movie star, whether I want him to be or not, because Marty Supreme is making money. That movie making money is an insane thing. In this day and age,
right?
For that movie to make money, for an A24 movie by one of the Safdie brothers to be like killing it at the box office, that nobody's going there for ping pong and nobody's going there for the softies. They're going because that kid is on the poster.
Yeah,
and you know what?
Exactly.
I have tremendous respect for that. I have tremendous respect for it. Again, I don't have to love the guy. So what? That's not my.
Absolutely.
That's not the point. The point is, I have to go. America, the world loves this kid. By the way, partially. We have a weird thing in our culture. And it's more recent. It's in the last few decades, but the sort of hairless boy thing. There is a I think there's a female audience, and I think it starts with young women, because they are a powerful block of our theater going experience. I think that they find that person non-threatening. So they can be attracted to that person without feeling like something bad's going to happen to them, that they're going to be overwhelmed some way, right? It's why I think Leonardo DiCaprio became such a hit so early on in his career. And by the way, another great actor. He's a great fucking actor. Okay. But you look at Leo, and then you put, like, let's say a Ben Affleck next to Leo, right? Right. So pound for pound, both extraordinary actors, and Ben Affleck's a really terrific director. But I think that Ben Affleck can never have what Leo has in the audience, only because Ben looks like he might leave you with a bad time. Ben's got that gruff sort of, hey, go fuck your mother.
Dude,
You know, like there's some
right.
of that's there, right? That Boston,
Yep.
go fuck yourself. Where
Yep.
Leo, you just go, oh, dreamy.
Mhm.
And it's
Yep.
amazing. Like it works. It worked, dude.
Yep.
It just
does.
fucking works. You
And
know?
if it works for him, all the more power
Fuck
to him.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's
funny.
much harder to figure out which women are going to land. I think the women thing is more interesting. And I'm always so like excited when like my nephews, both my nephews are at NYU Film School right now, which is amazing, right? So they're both
Nice.
they're both
Well,
filmmakers
congrats to
at
them.
NYU.
That's awesome. That's
Right.
awesome.
It's fucking cool. And the two of them are both madly in love. And I mean serious, heavy crushes on Florence Pugh, right?
Yep.
And I think that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like, by the way, I make fun of them constantly where I'm like, hey, you guys want to watch a movie? Maybe something with pew, 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 pew. Drives them nuts. They're like, shut up, Uncle Adam. But here's the thing. What I love about Florence Pugh is that she is not classically beautiful.
Exactly.
She doesn't have the body that movie stars are supposed to have. None of the rules apply to that girl. But her
100%.
spirit, her inner spirit is so fucking cool and kind of almost punk rock. Like there's something punk rock about her. And her choices are like, who goes, I'm going to do Midsommar? Who goes like, I want to be the lead of Midsommar, a young woman?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to you got to have a taste thing there, right? She does these kind of cool, badass, interesting movies. Even her Marvel stuff is fascinating with the accent and everything that she nails. And I think that her being a movie star, I just go, man, like there's hope for us yet.
Yes, exactly.
When someone
That's
like
a
her
great
can
point.
be popular.
You look at her, and this is that talent and mixed with that absolute fearlessness, because you have her again. You mentioned A24. We're going to do Midsommar, which although A24 is now rather extremely popular, they can put money behind things and they constantly put out good things, but arguably you can still file under independent horror for a lot of their stuff, although it be a bit more mainstream art, you know, but still
it's art house. It's art house horror, but they are the only ones really producing art house horror on that level. They're the ones,
And then she's managed to make it into, like you mentioned, Avengers, arguably one of the biggest franchises that will ever exist in the history of cinema. And along all of those dots, whatever you put her in, whether it's Oppenheimer or, you know, it doesn't matter where you're putting her in. You can put in 5 different movies she's in, and you will get 5 different versions of her.
Okay, but perfect. Oppenheimer, what a great fucking example, because she's fully nude in those movies. In that movie.
Right? Yeah.
And you're like,
whoa.
How rare is that for an actress?
Yeah.
By the way, I'll tell you another one. Another one that I have unbelievable respect for. And again, a little bit of a punk rock attitude. Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh,
this girl.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
when you look at No Hard Feelings, right? The one she did about, you know, her as a 32-year-old woman seducing an 18-year-old boy. Which right there, you go, wow, that is some risky storytelling. Like, you're okay, cool, I guess. Here's the thing. She was the producer of that movie. She's the reason that movie got made. She worked with that movie for years to get that thing done. And then in the middle of that movie, she's going to do a fully nude scene that is going to be the unsexiest thing you've ever seen and hilarious.
Yep.
That scene is so remarkable that I just go,
dude,
did Jennifer Lawrence just go completely naked for a joke?
Yep.
Like, she did that as a joke.
Yeah.
There's nothing sexy about that scene. It is her acting like a fucking lunatic, nude. I was like, I had always had tremendous respect for her work. Winter's Bone was how I was introduced to her, like most of the world.
Nice.
But I got to tell you, man, when she did that, I just went, okay, she's funny as fuck. Like, this girl is just funny. Which, by the way, for me, any actor that's funny, you got me.
Oh.
Like, that's because there's nothing harder in the world than being funny. She's funny.
I agree.
She's soulful. She's interesting. She produces shit that's really edgy and that other people just won't have the balls to do. and then she does something like that for the gag.
Mhm.
Dude, I gotta tell
Yeah.
you, look, I have a rule. I have a simple rule with actors, and movies in general. Never cut funny. Never. If it's funny, it stays. I don't care how fucking wrong it is. I don't care if I offend somebody. Fuck you.
Yes.
If it's
Yes.
funny, it's always gonna stay.
Leave it be. Leave it
Yep.
be, because
Yes.
comedy can be found in any situation.
You
What
bet.
the worst thing you can do is the opposite end of the spectrum is force it, and that's when you
Terrible.
start losing shit. But
Terrible.
any film can have comedy in it. In any film, the film doesn't have to be a comedy specifically, but
Nope.
it is the one thing that connects us all to, like, give us that little bump to make it to the next
You
hour
bet.
of the day, like in
You
every
bet.
single aspect. But yeah, I mean, she's amazing, and
Amazing.
Emma Stone kind of
Ooh,
that
so
brings me
good.
to mind too, with her and doing those bold choices that I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
Being,
shit.
you know,
I mean, when you're Yorgos Lanthimos's muse,
no shit. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah,
you have stumbled onto something, my dear.
No shit, dude.
That is
Absolutely
crazy talk.
insane.
But again,
Uh,
she's making some of the best movies that are out there because of that. Like,
absolutely.
what a great partnership.
Absolutely mind blowing. I want to go back real quick. You mentioned Caught Stealing, and
Yeah,
I wanted to
love
mention
that.
something about two of the supporting actors who I think are two of the most undersung, talented actors in the world, and they stuck them together in that fucking
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And I know you know who I'm talking about, Vincent
yeah.
D'Onofrio and Liev Schreiber, dude. Holy shit! Like the amount of talent that just existed in little small portions of that
Oh my
movie.
god! Every
that's-
scene those guys are in are like
Oh.
masterpiece scenes,
dude.
And then,
dude,
then
Vincent
and then to throw
D'Onofrio.
Carol Kane in there as their mom. I
Yes,
mean,
right.
holy
What the fuck are we doing?
that film.
It's
I'm
just-
telling you, that film. I've been telling my students all to watch it. I'm like, no, you're not getting
It's
it. Like
so
this
good.
is. And Zoe Kravitz is fucking great. Like,
Yes.
oh, and I'm sorry, Regina King in the single best piece of work she's ever been given. I mean, I'm like, it is a great. It's not a good movie. It's a great
It's a
film.
great movie. I
Great film.
think it was marketed a little off
Didn't know what to do with it.
because-
And by the way, they kept the name of the book, which who gives a
Yeah.
fuck about the book?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't read the book. I didn't even know it was a book.
Yep. Nope.
That
Me either.
title
Yep.
is awful.
Yeah, it's
Title's
not.
awful.
It's not good.
Tells
But
me
I
nothing.
think they're trying to play it as this. God, who am I trying to? I don't know. Guy Ritchie.
Because by the way,
comes
he
to
isn't
mind.
caught stealing.
Yeah, he's not caught. Yeah, his friend kind of is, but it
But
didn't
not
necessarily
really.
get
Like,
stolen per se either. It just kind of
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. But yeah,
it's a wrong man movie. Like, how do you
Yeah.
not go along those lines? Like, it's a guy
Yeah.
who's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the whole world comes after him. That, if you connected it more to that idea, you'd have more people going like, oh, that's how I feel in my life. That I'm in the
Yes,
wrong
'cause
place
he
at the
was
wrong
just-
time, and everything goes
he's
shit
just
tits up on
an
me,
everyday fucking dude. And
Yeah.
then to make his little minor backstory about the wreck,
Yeah.
like probably
Yeah.
hits home for God knows how many
Absolutely.
billions
Right.
of fucking people, dude.
Well,
Like I don't know,
everybody out there has got a dream that somehow got waylaid or got destroyed in some way.
and that's it. It's not even specific to car
Yep.
crash. It's specific to just the event of
No, the
that
trailer is
being
just
thing.
like Austin Butler jumping over shit and looking cool.
Yeah.
Well, nobody gives a
Yeah.
shit about that.
No, they don't. But yeah, I will all day long. That movie was fucking great.
Really good.
and,
Really good.
and I loved it. That
Yep.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's
I
true.
love the fact that we're on a horror podcast with you, and we're able to crest all
Yeah.
horizons, and we're talking about just film in general. And this is why film is so special to me and
by
all
the
the
way,
other people
isn't
out there,
that-
because
But isn't that what our genre really is? Look, I
Yes.
say this constantly. When you meet people, the normies, right? When you meet the normies, and the normies go, I don't like horror movies, it scare me. I don't want to have nightmares. And I'm always like, okay, asshole, you saw a horror movie when you were 7 and you haven't seen one since because you're scared.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, that's the audience I always want to get because they scream better. So I'm like,
fuck yeah.
you guys come in. But you know what's great about horror fans? Horror fans talk about any genre of film. Any genre.
Absolutely,
Because
all
they
day
know
long.
all of it.
Yeah.
Yep,
But
100%.
I would say horror fans, the next genre of film down is a Western.
You bet.
Horror fans love westerns too.
Yep.
I do.
100%.
Me
I have
too.
a western.
Oh, and
I have a
when they
western.
get
Yeah.
when they get mixed together, Bone Tomahawk,
Oh,
anybody?
yeah.
Holy
Oh,
fucking
dude.
shit,
Yeah, fuck
dude.
yes. Oh, you
But-
said you had a script about what?
Ugh.
Oh, I'm a writer, write scripts also.
Yeah.
But I have a western that is so different.
Mhm.
But it's more of a faith-based film because because it's about four brothers, and the one that you would think wouldn't have a life-changing, his story
Epiphany.
wouldn't be that story is the character that he's like, wait a minute, when he sees firsthand the decisions that he made is leading to this family of homesteaders being murdered.
Mhm.
He's like, I got to stay and help these folks. So,
Love
That's
it.
actually a really great
Dude, that's
script.
awesome.
I may or may not have
That's
read
awesome.
it, and it's fantastic.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But I grew up on westerns. I grew up on horror films. I grew up on dramas. I grew up on everything, and I watch
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And Hallmark movies. I'll watch a Hallmark movie too.
Dude,
I'll
that's what
watch
I'm saying.
anything.
We are willing, we are open to all of it, where
Yeah.
so much of the audience is only open to their little window, and that's not the horror.
Exactly.
That's not the horror community. We will take it if you can handle, a Serbian story. You can
Oh my
handle
God.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're like, good to
Yeah.
go. Like, what?
Yeah.
You can't. You're not
It's-
going to shock me. So go ahead. What do you
Right.
got?
Yep.
You know?
It's
Serbian
funny
or
because
Salo.
yeah.
Yep.
You know what's
Um,
interesting about Salo? I mean, there's so much interesting about Salo. But what,
Yeah.
what is important about Salo is that, and people don't know this, Salo and, funny enough, Cannibal Holocaust both go in the same category. Those are movies that Francis Ford Coppola and Steven Spielberg adore. They love those.
Yeah.
films.
Mm-hmm.
If Francis Ford Coppola and Steven Spielberg adore a movie, you got to look at the movie. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just take the populist view and go like, oh, it's just sick, and it's like, no. There's something else there. There's something else there, because there are filmmakers who are the contemporaries of those movies going, no, those directors outside of a system on their own did something that, and look, Pier Paolo Pasolini got fucking murdered because of Salo. Like, he literally was killed because he made that movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you make a movie that somebody kills you over, you're saying something dangerous that people
Yes.
don't. By
Yes.
the way,
Absolutely.
if we think about what we're going through right now, right, with the fucking Epstein files, go take a look at Salo. You want to see what went on Epstein Island? Go take a look at Salo.
Yep.
Take a look at that fucking movie.
Abso-fucking-lutely,
That'll tell you
dude.
something about what billionaire motherfuckers do when given the choice.
100%,
That's what Salo
dude.
is. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they fucking killed him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yep.
have you guys ever seen Marquis?
No, not that I recognize off the top of my head.
It's a French movie. I just got a copy of it. I found a site that will find old movies that you can't get on print, that you can't find.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and they like find a lot of TV movies and stuff, because I'm like a huge fan of like late 70s TV movies that you can't get a hold of.
Gargoyles?
But this,
Gargoyles?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Well, but Gargoyles you can find on DVD. That you can find. But
Yeah,
I'm talking
I
about
have
shit
it.
like that never got produced, that never got put out, right?
It's on.
Gotcha.
But this movie Marquis is a retelling of the Marquis de Sade. It's another
That's
Marquis de
what I
Sade
thought.
movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
okay.
it's told with these, like, it's an animated movie, but with these fucked up weird puppets.
Okay.
And I had read about this a bunch. I'd read about this movie, and I was like, well, I got to see this fucking movie. And I literally just got a copy of it. Literally, I'm holding it right here.
That's awesome.
And yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they burned a copy for me, and I'm going to check that shit out. So didn't know if you guys
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
had seen it, but
That
because
kinda sounds
again,
like the Mortalock. That was vampires. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Mhm.
That was fucking trippy, dude. That was cool
that's-
shit. I
yeah,
dig
that-
that a lot, actually.
That's thinking outside the box again. That's
Yeah.
doing
I try-
something.
Horror
But I
always
try to
finds
find at
ways
least
to
one
do.
a month. I try to find some movie that like fell through the cracks, or you can't quite get, or
Yeah.
like
Dude.
I saw Mad God way before anybody in North
Oh.
America had seen it.
Oh wow. Okay.
And
Nice.
yeah, I had animation friends who were like, I got Phil's movie, you got to take a look at it. and I was like, I watched that movie, I was like, holy fuck. And again, there's maybe 2% of the audience that might see that movie,
Right.
but people
There-
just don't. Like they just don't.
There was another puppet film. It wasn't all stop motion like animation like
Mhm.
Mad God was, but it was specifically about puppets, and it used a lot of
stop
stop motion stuff about the
You mean
girl
stop
that
motion?
was
The
a
movie
puppet.
Stop Motion?
Oh yeah, stop motion. Yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
it's great.
Fuck.
It's great.
Yeah, God,
That's a terrific
fantastic.
fucking movie. Yeah.
God, it's good.
Yeah, it's a fucking
yeah,
cool
yeah.
movie. By the way, there's also an incredible animated film that's about the Pied Piper. I think it might be called the Pied Piper. It's I think it's Czechoslovakian is where it was made. It is no dialogue of any kind, but there's vocalization, but no dialogue.
Okay.
It is the creepiest fucking movie. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Creepy as fuck and interesting and beautifully rendered. It's like the movie, the filmmaking is extraordinary. And it's like this one guy who took like 7 years of his life to produce this thing on his own. Actually, you guys probably don't know this, but in every single movie I've made, there is a reference to Watership Down.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's why I grabbed Poe. But he's like, nope, I don't want to be up here.
I get it.
Yeah.
He's
I
camera.
get it.
He's
camera
being
shy.
camera shy today.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm surprised mine. I don't have a rabbit, but I have a husky. His name is McGreedy
Yeah.
because of
Of
the
course it
thing.
is. Of course it is. Of course it is.
And he usually comes in to bug me to want to be part of what's going on, but he's probably passed out for.
Have you guys ever read the screenplay for the thing? You ever read the script?
Yes.
Yeah. The front page. By the way, if you haven't read it, Randy, you really should take a look at it. It's available online. By the way, very easy to get.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. But
Yep.
the what's wonderful is the first page of the script is is just one page of just the characters, right? And it's literally 2 lines about each character. That's it. What's amazing is that you know each character just from the 2 lines. It's so well written. Lancaster's work is so good that you know all of those people and they're completely defined characters from that 1 page of description. That's it. It's great.
Wow.
It's a great.
It's crazy.
I used to do that in my scripts. I'd have the first page is character and a short breakdown.
Right.
So and producers are like, stop doing that. Okay. So I stopped doing it.
I think
producers.
they're
They're all so brilliant. And they just it's so funny, and none of them have any hits. It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
They're wonderful. They're wonderful.
The thing is a great example. Like you mentioned, the breakdown of the characters, and of course that transfers over to film. And I say this repeatedly, and it should be an automatic thing, but for some reason I feel like there's so much that gets released that's not doing it. Is how important characters are to horror films, and I think maybe part of it is because the genre is so flooded with slasher films, and that is like in your mind that's like, well, we're not supposed to get like good characterization, but I argue the fact that every single film can be saved if everything else is absolutely shit, and I mean everything. Like a good character will save the day every single time.
Absolutely.
And in films like The Thing, it's a perfect example. Every single character is so specific and perfect, regardless of being simple.
Right.
Just because a character is simple doesn't mean it's not a great character.
By the way, go
It's how
back
it's
to
written.
go back to your OG. Okay, so look at the first Halloween.
Yes.
We care about those people. We care about those 3 girls.
Yes.
We care about those
Yes.
kids. We care.
Yep.
That's
And
it.
even let's go back to The Burning. The characters are likable in it.
Absolutely.
I'll
Absolutely.
support The Burning all day long. It's such a great. The Burning and the Prowler are like
Prowler's so good.
my top 2
So
favorite like
Savini
slasher
film.
films that don't get as much love. I mean, yeah, both Savini. Oh god, that fucking shotgun blast through the fucking window in The Prowler, dude.
Yeah.
And then The Burning, like you mentioned, that and Savini always talks about it, how important it was that you see the shears take a chunk out of the boat before they touch the flesh, because in your mind that's it's so true. And Burning is such a great example of that. And like, it's crazy how much influence you see later on in film from Savini's early work, and how everybody, not that anybody else is worse or not doing stuff, because I mean, we could spend all day talking about great, special effects artists, but like he is, another thing from him is he always says that it's a new movie if you haven't seen it yet. Like you were talking about getting your old movies from this site. It's so important to revisit older films that you haven't seen, or maybe that you haven't seen if you're a kid. I guarantee if you watch a movie as a 10-year-old and you watch it as a 30-year-old, it's a totally whole other film. Fucking completely different movie. Completely different. 100%, dude. And something I wanted to talk about for you, Adam, is unless somebody has talked to you or they know you, I don't think they understand how storied your career is and how far back you go into the horror genre. Like, people probably just automatically think, a quick look at IMDb, they're like, oh, well, he did Jason Goes to Hell. That's his first, foray into it. But you have so much rich history within the genre, going, like you mentioned, clear back to being fucking 11 with Sean S. Cunningham and all that stuff. Like, it is the reason you fell in love with horror because of that, or were you trying to chase horror at that early of an age?
Yeah, I loved horror. My three favorite genres are horror, comedy, and musicals. Always been. The reason, and all three of them have something in common. All three of those genres are better when seen with an audience.
Oh, right? Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So they are audience-friendly genres. When you're watching a comedy and someone in the third row laughs, the person in the fifth row is going to laugh because that person laughed. Now you give them permission to the seventh row and they're all laughing. The same is true of a good screen or a good piece of comedy in a horror movie that leads to a screen, right? So you get both of those things, right? Yep. Musicals are built for an audience. To see a musical at Home Alone is a fucking waste. So I love genres that cater to the audience, that want that reaction, that need that, and also the fact that I was an actor for so long. You're a whore for response. You want the response, right? So for me, like, the greatest feeling in the world is hearing an audience scream. Oh my God. I mean, it means you've really set them up and put them in a place. Which is gratifying. So no, I've always loved horror. And look, my earliest memories of film, outside of Mary Poppins was the first movie I saw in a movie theater, and it tore me to pieces. Like, I cried my fucking eyes out because I had such a good time, and then Mary left the kids, and I was like, wait, what? Where is she going? Why is she not with those kids? And I mean, like, my mom took me out for ice cream. I was still crying. Like, I was so fucking upset that Mary left those kids. But by the way, in that movie, it taught me how powerful storytelling can be, how powerful film storytelling can be. That I was so happy, and then I was so devastated, all within the same period of 2 hours of watching this movie. The thing about horror is that I found that every time I'd watch a great horror movie, whether it was the original Fly, whether it was the original Nosferatu, which I saw way too young, whether it was, even things like, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Again, the 70s television movies that were so fucking terrifying. Burnt Offerings. There were all of these movies. Salem's Lot, Tobe Hooper's Salem's Lot. There were all these images that would stay with me. And look, I saw Friday 13th, 6-7 months before it came out in theaters. So I saw it on VHS at Noel's house, when we were all screening it.
That's so crazy to think about, dude.
It was crazy to live. It was cool. It was fucking cool. Nuts. Yeah. But here's the thing. I slept with 2 extra pillows under my head for years because of the Kevin Bacon death. Like, I was not going to let somebody fucking shove that goddamn arrow through the back of my neck. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Dude, I get it. Oh shit.
I don't know. I do remember the first movie I saw in the theater in 1976. and it was Embryo. Remember that movie?
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. That's an intense
Oh,
fucking
God.
movie for your first film. Jesus.
Yeah.
Woo.
I was.
I wish-
I was 7 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I wish
and
I
then,
could remember the first theater movie I saw.
Yeah, you
And
and I,
then,
you and
like-
I are true contemporaries, brother.
And then the next movie I saw was Jaws.
Uh,
I had my grandma
It was Jaws?
take me to see Jaws.
Yeah.
I probably traumatized her.
I was, 12, 13 maybe? Just. And my grandmother was alone with my brother and I. My mother was in Europe on a singing tour. And so heavy metal came out. And I really, really wanted to see heavy metal. 'Cause I was
of course.
a fan of the magazine, and I was also an avid fan of Metal Hurlant from France, because my family is French, so we had all that shit. And so I convinced my grandmother to take us. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Now we get in the theater, and it was two movies that were playing in the same theater. So it was heavy metal on one side, and the movie Arthur was next door, right? and so the usher, when we get up there, my grandmother bought 3 tickets for heavy metal, and the usher says, "Ma'am, you sure you want to take them in there?" And she said, "Oh, is it inappropriate for them?" This is me and my little brother. She goes, "Is it inappropriate for them?" He goes, "No, I was thinking for you." And so he goes next door to see if there's any seats in Arthur that he'll let us go into the theater without her, but that he'd get her seat in Arthur. It's sold out. Arthur is sold out. She's not getting in Arthur. Okay. So my grandmother, she sits in between my brother and I to see heavy metal, right? And heavy metal is heavy metal. So my brother and I are like, we are mortified, right? We are just fucking mortified. By the way, this is the same grandmother who 2 years earlier had dragged my brother and I out of the theater for The Exterminator, the movie The Exterminator, because it was Ned's first big role in a movie. Ned plays the villain at the beginning of the movie who tears open the back of the Exterminator's best friend from Nam. And so right after Ned got killed, my grandmother yanked us out of the theater. I was like, "No, you can't, what?" So wouldn't allow us to see it. Okay. So there's my grandmother watching heavy metal with us. My grandmother, by the way, was like one of my favorite people in the world my whole growing up. She's amazing. And so we get out of the movie, and Kip and I are like silent because we just so embarrassed. Like we've just watched all this TNA with my grandmother. And my grandmother takes us to get ice cream. We gotta get ice cream. And next door was Sam Goody. It was the old school Sam Goody, right?
Yeah.
So she goes in. She had to get something for a friend. She was like, "I'm going to go in there, and you guys have ice cream." So she goes in, and the minute she goes into Sam Goody, Kip and I are like, "Oh my god, I'm so mortified. I don't know what to do. Like, we're so embarrassed. This is awful." And we go home. My grandmother drives us home, and my brother and I go up to get ready for bed. And as we're up there, we suddenly start hearing the soundtrack for the movie Heavy Metal. And I'm like, "What the?" And we go downstairs, and there's my grandmother rocking out to the soundtrack of Heavy Metal. And we're both standing there, and she's like, "Come on, dance with me." And we had a dance party with my grandmother to the soundtrack of Heavy Metal.
Oh, that's
She fucking
great,
loved the
dude.
movie and loved the soundtrack. I'm like,
I want your grandma to be my grandma.
how fucking cool is that? Like, I'm
That's
sorry.
amazing,
Like, I
dude.
won the fucking lottery in grandmas.
Fucking A. Yeah, hell yeah,
She's a
man.
badass. She was a badass.
That's awesome. I'm a
she's
I'm a
fucking
huge metalhead myself, so that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you're not far off Gen X.
Yeah.
You're not that far away.
Yeah.
But,
Because I mean, I grew all the movies I watched as a kid. My beloved movies as a kid were probably like the stuff when you guys were just a little bit older. Yeah. My dad, I was.
Oh yeah.
One day I would go from watching fucking Lion King to fucking Hellraiser or
Nice.
whatever. It's terrible.
Nice.
It was arguably a terrible thing for my family to do, but like I turned out okay, sort of. Like I remember watching From Beyond and as a kid and just feeling really awkward. Like
God bless Barbara Crampton.
God bless Barbara Crampton. Absolutely. That how did she get prettier with age? By the way,
it's amazing. And by the way, she's lovely. Like she's a really cool lady. She and I have become very friendly.
To talk to her.
She's adorable.
Seems fantastic.
She is. I just drew her. So one of the things that I've been doing for the last few years is I'm the U.S. editor of a French book series on film called Art de Cinéma.
Nice.
And so I do portraits and artwork for the books, and I'll do the opening sort of essay for each one of them. Right. So we've covered. I mean, I just finished my 30th volume for that.
Nice.
But we're just about to release our Reanimator book, and it's huge. It's a really kind of thick, beautiful book that they've made. But I did a couple pieces of art for it, and one of them is of Barbara, and it is The Moment. And it was very funny because we had to have a negotiation with her about it, which was because look, she feels like when she did the movie, there was a certain amount of pressure put on her, and I, I've been there. I know how that can happen. But I mean, that scene, defined her career for a long time. Like that was a thing. And she really couldn't get a lot of work because she had done that. So people all wanted to have her do that again, but they weren't so sure about her doing other things. And so it was a lot of negotiating. At one point I was like, well, I can do a nipple-free version, but it's not really the same piece of art. She's adorable. She really is. She's a very, very cool lady. But it was a fascinating thing that we had to deal with in trying to negotiate and navigate. Like, okay, we're going to, and I respect her so much. I love her. So I was like, I don't want to piss her off. But also, it's one of the kind of most important, at least sexual moments in filmmaking. The good news is she agreed. She was like, she saw
That's
the
awesome.
art and went, no. I love it. It's beautiful. I'm like, okay, great.
I'm kind of a really big art fan too. Yeah. And my favorite medium is just straight up pencil sketches. Like of all, like it just, there's beautiful paintings and I love paintings. I love fantasy art. I love all kinds of things, but there's something about just pencil sketching that like it just takes me somewhere very night, special. And so when you're constantly posting, your pencil sketches online, and I really love that because I love when people do pencil sketching. Like no art form cheats as far as like making art, as far as painting and everything like that. It's just because I dabbled myself. I feel it's like playing acoustic guitar. Pencil sketching, there's not room for error. You can't hide anything. It's like playing acoustic guitar. You have to be perfect and precise in what you're doing, because in an electric guitar through an amp you can hide things. You know what I mean?
Sure you can.
But when you're making a painting in paint and things like that in different mediums, you have a chance to hide some imperfections. Where is
I hit a lot
pencil art
right there.
Yeah. Randy is a really excellent artist too. But yeah, pencil sketches. So I really love your pencil sketches, Adam.
I'm already seeing what you're pulling out. That's fucking awesome. Oh yeah, dude, it's beautiful.
Hell yeah,
brother, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful piece of work, man.
Thank you.
That is impressive.
I should show him my werewolf head.
Yeah, you should. Oh, you should.
Oh, let me see that. Oh, dude, that's fucking great. Oh, it's fucking great, man.
And it's huge, too.
Yeah, no shit. That's beautiful.
That's.
So what is he constructed out of? What's the medium?
I did a silicone skin. He's got glass eyes and resin teeth, and
beautiful.
All the fur came from National Fiber Technologies. Yeah, they're like amazing when it comes to hair and fur and stuff like that.
That werewolf is the reason that Randy and I actually know each other.
Really?
Strangely enough, yeah.
How is that?
So years back, he had done his first features, Psycho Killer, and I had seen that just because I don't even remember how I found it. I had a knack for finding underground horror shit. I always have.
Yeah.
And then online, I saw that his next feature was going to be a werewolf film. And because werewolf is my favorite monster, I'm like, God, please, yes, more werewolf. So I saw he was making his next feature was going to be Autumn Moon. And he was going to start crowdfunding. And I think he had posted something about looking for talent. Maybe I'll reach out and try to get involved in any way I can.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to him, and that's how we initially met. And ever since then, we just kind of slowly kept in contact, just here or there. 3 years ago, almost.
I moved back here.
Yeah, he had moved back, and I was sharing his art just because I like to support anybody that I know. I always support their stuff. He shared his art, and I went and was looking at his Etsy shop, Iowa, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
At the time, from him, and he said, what does your Etsy store say Iowa on it? And I'm like, well, that's where I'm from, and that's I just moved back home.
I was technically I was in Ankeny.
Yeah.
But I was like, holy shit, my wife is from down here, so all her family is in Albany and the surrounding places. My wife went to school with Randy and his brother. Like brother. It's fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then they ended up moving closer.
Question, and I think the name is what finally got him to do the podcast.
Oh yeah. The whole podcast thing was funny because Craig's like, yeah, I've been thinking about doing this podcast. You want to do a podcast with me? And I'm like, I don't know. I got a lot going on. What do you call it? And he's like, Corner on the Macabre. And I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Right. Then he showed me the logo, and I'm like, I'm definitely in. So, yeah.
So to go along with your Frankenstein obsession. So I do a series called Serial Killers, which is all about sort of the ad characters, the logo characters, the pop icons that are used to sell children, shit that they shouldn't be eating. That's fucking terrible for them, right?
Yeah.
So this is just the base of the piece, but this is the Frankenberry base, right?
Barry Shelley, I love it.
Barry Shelley. But this is the character. This is the sculpt that goes on that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's badass.
I've seen that. I swear to God,
I have posted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's gotten
that's
posted.
Yeah. Wow.
That's so awesome.
So,
that is awesome.
Yeah. And then here, I have Son of Toucan Sam, where it's Toucan Sam holding this oversized gun being talked to by a dog.
Yes. Oh, that is awesome. Oh, wow.
I ate so much Count Chocula as a
Count
kid.
High Fructosia. So it's got the sirens coming out of the bowl.
That's awesome.
That's
and all oversized Count Chocula that I made by hand. Each piece.
Wow. Wow.
That's amazing.
He
floats
above the bowl.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Oh, yes.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so that's one of my obsessions that just fills my house with way too much shit. My poor wife has to deal with all of it. So, yeah.
Well, make sure you tell her thank you on our end for giving you the time to hang out with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Craig mentioned my first film, Psycho Killer. But
yeah.
That was written by me and Royce Freeman. Yeah.
Oh, I love Royce.
Yeah.
No,
great fucking dude.
Yeah.
Dude, send me a link, man. I'd love to check it out. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
great.
It's on YouTube. It's got over 100,000 views. So
great.
And,
Isn't the old werewolf TV show? Isn't that the reason that they couldn't make copies of that because there's a song
I'm sure.
in it. Something
Mike and the
about that. Where they,
Mechanics. Was it the Mike and the Mechanics?
yeah. That's crazy.
Silent Running. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. Happens all the fucking. Look, we were just talking about heavy metal. It took them 20 years to put that on VHS or on DVD because of the music problems. It's all licensing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We went over Hearts of Darkness. I just want to hit on that again for anybody listening or watching. That'll be coming out hopefully soon. So just make sure everybody has a chance.
In the next couple of weeks, actually. We're here's the thing: the people who supported the Indiegogo campaign get the discs 6 weeks to 4 weeks before the general public can get it. So
nice.
I am waiting for my discs to arrive. The minute they arrive, they leave this fucking house as quickly as they possibly can, so everybody can literally collectively get out of my colon. Because at this point, I have no say over any. Like, I'm just waiting for discs. But I do have to tell you, if you have not checked out, we've already put up the specs on what's going on this disc, and Bloody Disgusting carried it, and there's a bunch of places that have already talked about it. It is so packed. This fucking thing is so good. I'm so excited about what we created because the feature film is terrific, and it's about 110 minutes, 107 minutes is the feature. The package of material is over 4 hours of stuff, and it's just fucking great. Like it's a double disc set, and then there's I did 6 pieces of original art that are done into postcards, and on the back of each postcard is a story that I wrote about each one of these images that are not covered in the doc. So it's like awesome. 6 extra pieces of documentary stuff, but with original artworks. The poster art, I mean, like the package of this thing is so good. And our director, Michael Felsher, we did it through Synapse, through his releasing label, Redshirt. So
nice.
Because I knew he would care about it more than anybody, that he would take better care of it. We had a lot of offers for the movie, but I was like, no, I want somebody who loves this movie, who's going to treat it the right way. So we're only going to be released on physical media for the first little while. We're there, and we're also on VHS.
Nice.
And then once that's given its chance to have its run, then it will go to streaming. And I can't say where yet because we're still in negotiations. But
sure.
I will not allow streaming to happen until this movie has had its life on physical media. That's the way it's got to happen.
It's important. Physical media is extremely important. I'm a collector myself, as I'm sure you can see behind me for some stuff. But I fit in the horror is a genre that continues to keep that alive. Also, it's another really important thing. So that's awesome. You mentioned it. It's so awesome to me that you have a favorite musical, and not only that, it's your favorite movie of all time. that blows my mind. I'm a big musical person myself. I love musicals. Top Hat has a very special place in my heart.
Film. Great fucking.
I don't. It just from being a kid. Do you have a favorite horror film or a couple that are in constant contender?
Yes. Absolutely. Look, for me, they always do rotate. I mean, look, the granddaddy is The Exorcist, and it's just the movie that just fucking
so good.
I can rewatch it a million times. I always find something new. I always find something interesting.
Perfection.
I love that film. And talk about a marriage of acting and writing and great direction and great effects and just. There's only one thing in that movie, only one that I would change out of the whole fucking movie, is the first time she hears the noise in the attic, and she goes, "I think we have rats." I'm like, "What? The size of elephants?" It's the only sound effect in that movie that you go, "Come on, man," because if you read the book, it is literally scratching. You hear something scratching. Nothing's moving. It's scratching. And it's literally the nails of Pazuzu scratching around the house. So that's the only thing I would change. But the rest of that movie is perfection. Truly perfection. That said, look, The Thing is a perfect movie. Perfect movie. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the ugliest, grimiest, under your skin fucking movie you could possibly see.
Yeah, Craig and I were just talking about that before you.
It's perfect. It's a perfect movie, and you talk about a movie that had no money, and it's perfect. while I'm a giant fan of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, George Romero's Dawn of the Dead is for me those two films are what's great about our genre, in that we are the genre that, because we cover everything with scoops of ice cream, we can feed you as much broccoli as we need to. So Romero is so good at like having a theme that matters, that means something.
Yes.
And he covers it with so much good, yummy stuff that you don't realize you're getting a full meal. I will also say, when it comes to more modern horror, for me, I think the movie Inside is perfect. The original, not the American remake bullshit.
Yeah, not the American remake, dude.
No. But that film is that is as raw and as ugly and as well acted as you could get. I mean, that film is beautifully made.
Amazing.
I love those dudes. I love the guys who made that film. I just think they're terrific.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm, and listen, when it comes to vampires, man, you guys are vampire fans. I mean, shit, Near Dark, near perfect.
Yeah.
And not a fang to be found, and the word vampire is never said, and you clearly know what the fuck is happening, and it's
Yep.
So look,
I think Bill Paxton he said finger licking good. It's the
fuck yes. Fuck
dude,
yes.
Neo Western vampire. What could go wrong, dude? Like it's
Nothing.
Perfect. Fright Night is where it's at for me. Just always been my favorite vampire.
It's a great
There's
film.
something, dude. Jerry Dandridge is like the quintessential. If you want to generalize vampires, of course.
Yeah.
Jerry is like just Chris Sarandon and that dude. Fucking perfect.
Well, he's the perfect embodiment of a modern Dracula.
Yes, exactly.
And they also never skimped out on the sexuality of that. I mean, there was such a sexiness to that movie, and that's what Dracula's all about. It was written. The novel was written during a period of incredible repression about a man who literally penetrated women with his mouth. I mean, come on. You don't need a roadmap.
Yeah,
exactly.
So no, dude, I'm with you, 100%.
Love it.
So there you go.
That's awesome, man.
The Shining is nothing to sleep on either, so that's pretty fucking perfect.
No, I'm. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's one of those. It's one of those movies for me. It's just. I just beat over the head with. You know what I mean?
I get it.
And so there's a bit of that where I'm like, yeah, it's good, but like, I want to go watch The Thing.
I totally get it.
Aliens. Alien,
I
Monster Squad.
I have to say, my movie is Psycho. It's like I feel like it's overrated, and I totally understand why it is overrated. Why it's really loved, but Psycho 2 is amazing.
It's a great film.
It is a great film,
and also written by Tom Holland.
Yes. Exactly.
Amazing man.
Great film.
It's like, give me Psycho or Psycho 2. I'll take Psycho 2 first, but I appreciate Psycho.
No, I get it. Absolutely, I get it. But no, Psycho 2 is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
You said Texas Chainsaw. Randy and I were just discussing, of all those old films that are constantly mentioned, Texas Chainsaw is the OG one that deserves all of its accolades above everything.
Because it's actually terrifying.
Other than The Exorcist, that is the accolades it earned. Every single last one of them. There's a new documentary on Shudder I just watched. Chain Reaction, something like that. Okay. I don't know if you've seen it yet. They take 5 filmmakers. The whole idea of the documentary is all 5 of them. You just listen to them talk about what the film means to them, as opposed to why it was made. Like you mentioned, great documentaries like Wolfman's Got Nards. It's not about how Monster Squad was made. It's about the fans and what they did it. And much like what it sounds like Hearts of Darkness is, or like if you listen to, I don't remember the name of it. There's like an 1.5 to 2 hour documentary on The Exorcist, but it's just William Friedkin.
It's so
speaking.
Good.
Oh
it's
my
so
god,
fucking good.
I'm not sure I've ever been that enthralled by a fucking documentary before.
Have you watched De Palma?
Oh yes. Dude,
that doc is fucking great. It's fucking great.
So good. So
and the
good.
next time we talk, I'll tell you a fucking Brian De Palma story that'll knock you on your ass.
Oh,
So.
Yes,
absolutely. We love your stories. You've got so many great stories. We're so excited. It's really funny that we our last guest was Richard Stanley, and it was such an ethereal event. It was crazy. It was unique.
Yeah.
And then our next guest was you, and it's funny because you both had to deal with fucking Kilmer. And,
Oh God, motherfucker.
God. But you guys are, you and Richard Stanley are a lot alike, but so polar opposite, because you are this just fast paced, like I love listening to you and all your stories. It's insane. And then Richard, he's got this awkward, like druidic elegance. Sort of cerebral. But like I'm so enthralled by the both of you in different ways that it's just great. Like the poor guy, we had him on just as long as you. We had like 4 hours with Richard. It was insane. He just he was just telling, and I think it's because like we wanted to talk about other things other than just the bullshit of Dr. Moreau. We wanted to talk about,
which we got the actual story.
Oh, sure. Yes,
the
yes, we
real
did,
story.
which was really cool that we've never heard before. You and him have these crazy stories within the genre, and people don't understand how much of the back end and how storied your careers are deeply rooted within the genre. That it's filmmakers like you guys that the world needs to take notice. Because I believe, personally, you're just as important as Spielberg and all those other guys, dude. They deserve all their accolades, 100%.
Of course they do.
But there is another layer that exists out there, and that's why I do this podcast. It doesn't make me any fucking money, dude. I love horror film. I love film in general so much. I wanted to make this to get that underlayer out to other people and to let people have a platform to talk about that. So I know it's probably not a big deal for you, but you coming on here and sharing all this thing,
no,
dude,
I appreciate this. You
it means
no
so
idea.
much.
Endlessly.
Well, thank
endlessly.
you. Thank you.
And by the way, I've got a new movie that we're making this year that should be out by the end of the year, beginning of next. And I will definitely jump in with you guys. You know, once we're there. But it is genre bending, and it's called How to Survive a Game Night. And it is a Agatha Christie style, Knives Out-ish thriller comedy that's pretty great, that I'm really excited about. That Deborah and I work together, and we're doing with Skeleton Crew, and it's going to be fucking great. It's really exciting.
That's awesome. Hopefully you get to work with all the other people we love you work with. I know you're good friends with Bob, and it's always wonderful to see.
Bob's going to be coming in to do that.
I've figured as much. Him and Marcy were so great.
John Esposito's John Esposito's coming out, who wrote Graveyard Shift, Stephen King Graveyard Shift, but also The Walking Dead and Creep Show and all the rest of it. So
that's so
he's
awesome.
coming out and he's working on it with me. So I'm putting together the Avengers team for this one. So
hell yeah, that's what we like to hear, because like all those guys, you guys kind of have this group that we accidentally happened upon. We've all talked to you individually, not knowing that you guys were all like really good friends, like you and Kurtzman and Marcy, along with Kurtzman, which, God, she was so fantastic. She's such a lovely person. She was so nice to us at the convention. Kurtzman was wonderful as well.
She's the voice of the party, but the two of them. He's very much very thoughtful.
And then of course Kane
was really nice too.
Oh yeah. Kane was so fantastic, and Kane was so cool. Kane was so great.
If you watch our interview with Kane, I'm out of it for I think in the beginning, or maybe she calls me over because she's like, while we're doing the interview, and she's like, "Hey, if somebody comes up to buy any photos here, can you just sell them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got you covered." And I'm like, "This is crazy." She had to go do something. That was just
she's
that
great.
was hilarious.
She's great.
Yeah. Well, Adam, we're gonna let you go here. We wish you the best, and thank you so much for coming on again. You were always welcome on
my
here.
My absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
I'm really just doing it for the T-shirt. That's really
yes.
You know what? I'll take it, dude. All right, Adam. We'll let you off the hook. Sorry we kind of went off on a tangent there and kept you a couple extra minutes, but
all good. All good.
Well, you take care, man.
All right.
Sounds
You
good.
too.
Thank you.
Later, guys.
Bye.
All right.